A fam. Good to be back with you all. Welcome into the week 2 Wednesday start sit show, waiver, trade, whatever you want to throw at us. Get your questions loaded up. Thank you for being patient, running a little bit behind. So let's go ahead and just dive right in, Kev. Obviously, the one piece of news to note is that Keenan Allen has been ruled out for Thursday night's game. So get your plans, any questions around him, drop him in there as well. Alexis is leading us off with the first question. I'll be sleeping when the live starts. Alexis, it's 10 o'clock. It's East Coast for me too. What's going on here? Jeff Wilson in my flex spot over Julio Jones and Tyler Boyd, right?
Wrong. I mean, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with T. Higgins. Because if T. Higgins plays, then maybe I'd be a little bit more inclined to do so. But if T. Higgins were to be out, no, it would be lock Tyler Boyd in. Because I would put I would put Tyler Boyd if T. Higgins were out. I would make him strong. He'd be a wide receiver too.
Yeah, and I mean, even if Higgins does play, I think I'd rather play Julio Jones over Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, it was kind of like we talked about, right? In our must start running back video that we did. Like, I just don't know what to trust here in this backfield, like how this is going to play out. Like, we know Kyle Shanahan's very unpredictable. The only thing I felt really comfortable with was Elijah Mitchell, just because of how much usage you got last year. But this year, I think all cards are off the table, and it's why, like, if Jordan Mason's sitting out there on your waiver wire, like, I would be looking to add him right now because, like, it's not all the realm of possibility. I think he's actually a pretty good fit for the outside zone scheme, where that's not really Jeff Wilson's bag. That's not really what he does the best. So I could see Jeff Wilson kind of maintaining the same role and him not being the lead back and it going to somebody like Jordan Mason. So I wouldn't want to wait until after, this week and see how this plays out. I'd rather have the guy on my team already. And it could be Tyrion Davis Price too. I mean, it's possible one of those guys. So if either one of those are sitting out there, I just wouldn't mind picking them up, stashing them, and kind of see how this plays.
Yeah, like I said, the answer is not Jeff Wilson. And we also have to remember too that we have Debo taking cares away, and obviously Trey Lance taking cares away from Jeff Wilson as well. So that throws in a whole other wrench into it. Moving on to our second question from Josh JT. Ain't nobody called Jive Turkey. Who do you like in standard this week? Hill, Komet, or Albert O? First standard question of the night.
Tyreek.
I'm assuming that is Saints.
Well, if that's Tyreek Hill, yeah. Or is that Taysom? Oh, tight end. Hey, here we go. We're putting two. We got two. It's probably not Tyreek.
Tyreek, next question.
I would go Alberto. I don't mind Komet. I think I have both of them as top 10, I think, options this week. Yeah, I have Alberto at 9, and I have Komet at 10, actually. So I have Alberto just ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm going to bank on the better offense and the better quarterback. So even though Alberto has Judy and Sutton ahead of him, and it seemed like there were going to be 3 other tight ends ahead of him as well when they open up the game featuring Beck. But at the end of the game, the snap share heavily favored Alberto. Crab gravy. Love these live stream, guys. Appreciate you rocking with us. If you're new to the channel, please hit us with a sub and a like. We are on the way to 3,300, on the way to 4K. Full PPR, David Montgomery or Rashad Penny. I'm going Penny here.
I'm going to do the same.
Did not have that on my 2022 fantasy bingo card, but here we are.
Well, I did. I mean, I just, the more and more we heard about David Montgomery as the preseason went on, more and more I became concerned about him. And we kind of saw it in this past week's game. I mean, I think he only played he got like 60% of the opportunities in this backfield, I think it was, or 60% of the snaps. And I mean, Khalil Herbert looked better than he did once again, scoring a touchdown. 40, he had like 9 carries, 45 yards of a score. So, I mean, it's, I'm not all that excited about David Montgomery.
Yeah, I'm kind of throwing the performances out when it comes to that game, but the thing I'm not throwing out is the snap share. And the reason why we liked Dave Montgomery for so long is because he was the only show in town and he was handling all the work, and that does not seem to be the case. Alex, start at 3, 2 points per reception. For all you standard people that hate PPR, what do you think about this? Higgins, Waddle, Deontay, Najee, Michael Thomas, AJ, Dillon. We need 3.
So I did see some news. I was trying to catch up on some news on some stuff. And so it sounds like T Higgins might play this weekend. It says he's progressing. He hasn't been cleared yet, but he's progressing and he's doing the individual drills, which is kind of the next step for him. And then from there, to get cleared for this weekend. So I think that he's on. He might be on pace for for this.
That's number 2. You missed it on Sunday. TN came through with the same super chat on Sunday.
TN,
Just
I mean,
the GOAT. The
yeah.
absolute GOAT.
TN, we'll get you here right after this, okay? Right after we answer this question, you go to the front of the line with that. So for me, it throws me all off now. I'm all off kilter. I'm gonna go. So we got 3 here. I'm going to go with Najee Harris. I'm playing Najee Harris. I know people are concerned with him, but he is healthy. It sounds like he should be good. He's limited at practice, so it's good to see that already on Wednesday. So I think he plays this weekend. It's against New England. I'm not really all that concerned with New England defense. So I'm going to lock in Najee, and then I'm going to go with T. Higgins and Jalen Waddle.
Same 3 for me. Let's say that Higgins doesn't clear protocol. Who are you throwing in if Higgins does not go?
I'm going to go with Michael Thomas.
That's where I lean as well. Me and Robbie said that TN has a lifetime front of the line pass on Sunday.
He gets the Disney pass. He gets the Disney Express
just
pass.
The VIP Express lane. Half PPR here for the OG really of this channel, TN. For the flex, Jeff Wilson, Naheem Hines, Michael Carter, Breece Hall, Russell Gage, or Deontay Johnson.
I'm going Deontay.
Yeah, I'm going to go Deontay there as well. We're going to let TN's simmer up there.
Were you leaning towards somebody else or thinking, like, if you didn't go there, like, is there somebody else that you would even consider over him? Because I know Michael Carter and Breece Hall, when they both got, like, ridiculous targets. I think, Breece Hall got 10 targets, Michael Carter got 9, but I mean, they were playing from behind for most of that game. I don't know if I would expect that every single week, that type of crazy, type of target production there. Naheem Hines, somebody that I do like. They get a matchup against Jacksonville, but I just can't sit Deontay Johnson. I mean, he played. It's not a great. I mean, the implied point total is not great. They have a 19.5 implied point total. That is not good. Almost towards the bottom, but he still saw 12 targets last week, 7 catches, 55 yards. So he didn't find the end zone. But the 12 targets are definitely things that you love to see for him. So he's just kind of a locked in toward a type of production that he's going to see. So
yeah, no, I was just going back over the list. Deontay is the clear answer there for me.
This is a pretty solid. I'm assuming a lot of these are on his bench, and so I mean,
yeah,
a really solid group of players.
Yeah, for your flex options every week, that's pretty nice. And you got to assume that the Breece Hall Carter thing kind of figures its way out, by mid season to late season. So might be able to drop, assuming Carter halfway through the season. But either way, nice group.
And by the
Moving
way,
on.
I just want to say one more time, TN, we appreciate you. You don't have to do it. It is truly appreciated.
Yes.
People that are new here. TN has been around from I think we always joke about it, like he was like our third subscriber we ever had. So he's been here
Legit though.
since the beginning. Yeah, since the beginning. I think we went back and looked. He was like the third. Like I was the first.
It was like you, then Anthony, and
Yeah.
then TN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we always appreciate you, TN.
Always. Forever and always. XOXO. Moving on to Tam's question. Superflex. That does not matter here. Need one flex out of these options. We have Drake London, Brandon Cooks, Rashad Bateman, Chase Edmonds, or Javonte Williams. I'm assuming we were both locking in Javonte Williams.
Absolutely.
For sure. Again, nice flex options there. Aquaman in the chat. Walito, listen, we knew you threw the $10 super hauler in earlier. And we'll throw it up here for a second, just so what's going on with this victory lap? Were you down on Michael Thomas? Did you tell?
Where have you been? I wasn't hot. I wasn't like I probably turn the song looks a little better. I wasn't high on no, but I still always had him as like a top 36 wide receiver. It's not like I had him like a wide receiver 60. I just wasn't nearly as high on him. And it's 1 week, Walito. Okay, let's relax a little bit here. Okay, let's chill. It was against the Atlanta Falcons as well, so let's remember that as well. So, but no, I will say he did look pretty good, especially in the second half. It wasn't looking as good early, but in the second half he really came to life. Got scored the 2 touchdowns. Saw 8 targets I think in that game. So hopefully he is. I don't want to see him fail. So hopefully he is. Hopefully he proves me wrong.
Cinco, sit Kamara for Henderson or Wilson?
No, absolutely not. We can't do that. We're not sitting down with Kamara.
Julio or Dotson?
Julio.
Going Julio as well. Obviously, like seeing that from Dotson, but his fantasy total is overweighed by the fact that he had the 2 touchdowns. If it weren't for the 2 touchdowns, I don't think people would be nearly as excited about him. AO rocking with us. Have a couple stardom questions. So starting this one off, full PPR, Judy or CEH?
That's tough. I'm going to go CEH, though.
It is close. I'm going to go with Judy. But I wish we could have a closer tiebreaker there. I know both of us are going to say this is close. I just leaned Judy just because I think those targets are going to start to that target tree is going to start to slim down. I don't think they're going to be out here wasting targets on back every week and their third and fourth tight ends. I think it's going to become the Sutton and Judy show with Clyde. I know Pacheco's a lot of his touches, maybe even all of them, came once they had that game well in hand. But he's still splitting some time with McKinnon as well. It's supposed to be a high scoring affair tomorrow night. The Chargers did upgrade their defensive line. So I lean Judy, but it's super close. Half PPR for this one, Hunt, Waddle, or Cooks?
Waddle
for me as well. Another full PPR. We need 2 out of this group: McLaurin, Deontay, or Hunt.
I'm going to go Deontay and McLaurin.
Any love for Hunt in this matchup against the Jets?
I don't mind it, but it's a really good matchup, but obviously Nick Chubb is still the lead back there, and I would almost prefer Kareem Hunt in matchups where you think that they're going to be pushed and maybe even possibly trailing, so they have to throw the ball more. He did see 11 carries, but targets is he saw 4 targets as well last week. He scored 2 touchdowns. That's not something you're gonna be able to bank on every single week,
Right.
and that's kind of where I view him. Like he's gonna be very much boom or bust that way, and so I just trust the other 2 options that they're there a little bit more. Like those 2 have bankable targets that they're going to see, where Kareem Hunt is going to be a little bit more. Touchdown dependent, or like I said, game script dependent to be able to see more targets because he's certainly the pass catching back in that offense compared to Nick Chubb. So
Obito Despair. Should I try to trade Darrell Henderson to potentially upgrade? My running back room right now is Gibson, Pollard, Henderson, Madison, Rashad White, and Jalen Warren. I think you could potentially try, but the thing is it's not like Henderson popped off last week and put up a massive number. I mean, obviously, I think that your running back room could use an upgrade. I think you can probably drop Jalen Warren since it looks like that Najee isn't going to miss any time. So I think you can drop him and look to pick somebody else up. But maybe the move is to trade Gibson if he has another solid game, because obviously we have Brian Robinson kind of lurking in the background. Seems like he could be back around week 5, give or take. So he might be the one to try and move off from. Like I said, the thing with Henderson is I just don't know how much leverage you have to upgrade there. You're going to have to add, a receiver or something else in order to upgrade that running back room.
if you could trade Henderson,
My receivers are Samuel, Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore, Godwin, Adams, and Jacoby Myers.
If you could trade Henderson for like Brees Hall, would you do it? Because I would all day. Because I mean, I don't mind trading Henderson right now. Like if you can make it happen, you're not going to get like some like top 15 running back for him. Nothing like that's going to happen. If you're going to do it, you need to try to go and get, I think, maybe some other options that maybe we wait a little bit to pop, but I think have a more clearer path. Like I know Darrell Henderson was the guy last week, but I don't know if we can expect that to happen all year. Like they've never really seemed to love Darrell Henderson in this offense. And like Darrell Henderson did do great, like you said last week. And I think they want Cam Akers to be the guy. I don't know why it happened and why they did what they did last week. I don't know. But, it seems like Cam Akers still has a path here. And I think all it would take is Cam Akers to have one good game for him to supplant Darrell Henderson. And so I think if you can make the move, like it's not a bad time. Like it's not like he has like monster, in terms of like trade value right now. It's not like he went out and had 150 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. And like you could probably get a killing for him right now. But I think trying to go and get maybe some of these lesser, pieces that could end up popping later, I think would be the play. Like I said, like Brees Hall, like see if you can, try to get him from somebody. And, I think Brees Hall by midseason is probably the lead back. And, it could end up paying off big time down the stretch. And like, that's the way I would try to play it because you're not going to be able to get, like, I don't even think if you offered him for like a Miles Sanders, I don't even know I don't think that's going to work either. I don't think people with Miles Sanders, especially coming off the week he just had. So like, you're not going to get what you think you're going to get. And so I think trying to get somebody that's a little bit like that, maybe like I said, and maybe even Brees Hall is a little too much. Maybe you have to throw in one of your other other running backs that you are not running backs or wide receivers that you may have. But I don't know if I'd really want to, you're not going to offer like Deontay Johnson or DJ Moore or Godwin or Devontae Adams even for that. And so maybe like a Curtis Samuel coming off the week he just had, like maybe you can make that work. And then I think, maybe you could do something like that. Or, maybe if they have, depending on what their bench looks like, maybe that have them also throw in maybe somebody like an Isaiah Pacheco or Rashad White or, somebody else that could, again, be another, piece down the line that would really solidify your running back room.
What about like a J.K. Dobbins?
I think that's an option. It really scares the hell out. Did you see that interview he did today where he talked about exactly what it was? Like it was way more than just his ACL. It was LCL, MCL. I think he said hamstring and something else that he tore.
Wow.
Like yeah, it just wasn't just like, I mean, it was way worse than what it was supposed to be. So
Wow.
I just don't know how much I trust him for this year at all.
All right. Well, let's go back and edit that one out. I did not know all of that. Moving on, Abraham rocking with us. Good to see Pena back here. I have Jefferson, Pittman, Najee, Sanders, Jacobs, Hawk, Hall, Boyd, Sutton, Fryermuth. Should I offer any of these players for Nick Chubb or any other RB? I'm not sending Jefferson or Pittman for Nick Chubb.
No, but again, this would be something where I would consider Najee.
That's
Like
where I was
I
looking as
want to move
well.
Najee Harris if I can help it. Like I don't really love the return of Nick Chubb. I mean, I really like Nick Chubb the player, but like for fantasy purposes, he's very safe, but he doesn't have like a huge ceiling for most weeks, especially with Kareem Hunt around. I think he's a guy that you probably can figure in to be like that 15 to 17 range, but he's not going to have a lot of it unless he goes off, just absolutely goes nuclear one week with like 2 or 3 touchdowns and goes for 150 rushing yards. Like it's going to take a lot for him. So like I don't necessarily love Nick Chubb being the target, but if I was going to trade somebody, it would be Najee Harris. Like I would try to be getting out of Najee Harris if I could.
Yeah, I would start there for sure and see what the Chubb owner says after that, rather, because Najee obviously is not coming off a good game. Nick Chubb is, so not entirely sure how much more I would want to add to that to get Chubb, but I think that is a solid starting point. Choose two for the running backs here, also from Abraham: Najee, Sanders, Jacobs.
First two for me. And you can potentially start all three if you wanted to, but I'm not because I'm starting Sutton. But
yeah, I think I have Jacobs higher than Sanders, so I'm gonna go Najee and Jacobs. It's close between the two, but I lean Jacobs. Just feel like there's fewer running backs, and then Jalen Hurts on top of that to take touches away. Harry Romero need to start 3 of these 5 wide receivers, full point PPR. We have McLaurin, Cooks, the Sun God, Marquise Brown, Curtis Samuel. Nice, solid group here. So I'm going to go Cooks, McLaurin, and Hollywood.
I'm going to go Amon-Ra, Marquise Brown, and Terry McLaurin.
Ooh, I did not see that curveball coming at the end there. Sure, Walito loves to hear that. Taysom Hill over Knox this week.
No, I think I would still go Knox for another week.
Knox for me as well. We talked about it on the quarterback tight end show that'll be coming out tomorrow. But the thing with Taysom Hill is that floor is 0. And when you realize he only played, 16 or 14 snaps or something like that, like it's going to be really hard to trust him. I would rather bank on Dawson Knox and one of the best offenses in football than to go with Taysom Hill. Infamous Mel rocking with us. Anthony Ramos, would you guys trade AJ Dillon for D-Hop in a 12-team PPR league?
No, not with him still being missing in the next 5 weeks. I mean, it'd be different if he was like, we're a week out or maybe even 2 weeks out. Maybe I'd maybe consider it, but no, I'm not. I don't want to trade AJ Dillon.
What do you guys think about the Jags backfield for fantasy? Coming from Raylan. Good to see Raylan back in the YouTube streets. Is James Robinson just going to be the outliers of all outliers just for the UDFA?
I mean, he has been his entire career. I mean, really. He was undrafted
tears his
free.
Achilles 9 months ago. That's supposed to be the death sentence. Comes back, has a solid game.
I do find that funny though that people are using the ACL or the Achilles as a problem for Cam Akers, but we're not talking about it for James Robinson, who is much less removed from it than what Cam Akers is, and people are using it against Cam Akers, but not for James Robinson. 'Cause James Robinson, I mean, he played pretty well in limited opportunities that he got, but um, I still want Travis Etienne, but Travis Etienne moves from like a RB2 right now for me. That's more of a flex option, right? I mean, Travis
For
Etienne's not
sure.
going anywhere. I mean, he's still going to get plenty of opportunities, but James Robinson right now looks to be that early down back and goal line back, which is um, where Travis Etienne probably comes into more of the targets because last week Robinson played 52% of the snaps, but we got 61% of the opportunities and he got 11 carries and 2 targets, 3 red zone touches. I mean, but 66 rushing yards, okay, not bad, especially on 11 carries and then 2 touchdowns. So, he may have the more lucrative role, at least in terms of like the goal line, but like he's probably not going to see the same type of target share that he used to see either. So I think I say all that to say this that I think they're both fine, but I think they're probably more both like flex options right now where they stand.
Yeah, and I think depending on what your draft strategy was with ETN, you're not locking him in as an RB2 the way that we initially thought we were going to be able to. So he's definitely sittable until we see some more production out of him. Infamous Mel, should I gamble and start Matthew Stafford over Hurts due to the fact the Rams are playing the worst defense in the NFL?
No, you can't sit Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's not even it's not even that. It's not even the matchup. It's also just what Hurts brings to the table and on the ground, right? He has legitimate 100 rushing yard upside, especially if he's
Yeah,
going to see the ridiculous type of carries that he saw last week. I mean, which is not something I would expect every week, but
right.
I just think that Hurts is going to. He just is. His floor is so much higher than a lot of these pocket passers because of that. And so, no, I'm not sitting Hurts for Matthew Stafford, even though I think Matthew Stafford bounces back this week.
Agreed. Times 2. Jay Fried, Waddle, Brown, DJ Moore. This is going to be Marquise Brown for me, but it is close between him and Waddle.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going to go Hollywood.
Really, really close though. CHB, good to see you in here. Godwin or Keenan Allen rest of season. The battle of the hamstrings. Choose your fighter.
I'm going to go Chris Godwin. But it's close between the two of them.
I'm going to go Keenan. I mean, as of right now, Keenan's is just a hamstring injury where Godwin has the ACL. I think did Godwin have MCL as well? No. Either way, he still has the ACL, and then picking up the hamstring injury week 1 on limited snaps is not a great sign. So I'm going to rock with Keenan. Kevin is a closet dynasty guy, and that's why he said Godwin, because Godwin is younger than Keenan Allen. Ramos, any faith in Allen Robinson this week? Should I start him over Sutton, Davis, or St. Brown?
I do have faith in Allen Robinson, but I'm not starting him over any of those three. I have Sutton as I think I have him at 9 against Houston. I have Gabriel Davis at 13 against Tennessee. And I have Amon-Ra at 20. And then I have Allen Robinson at 27 right now. So I do think Allen Robinson bounces back, but I like those other 3 more.
Either Pucks, Pukes. Let's go Pukes. Let's go Puke for the 2X. Full PPR pick 1 to flex. Curtis Samuel, Ramondre Stevenson, Jacoby Myers, Brandon Yuck.
I'm going to go Jacoby Myers and Curtis Samuel.
We only need 1.
Oh, that's my fault. Then I'm going to go Jacoby Myers.
Give me Ayuk. I'm gonna go Ayuk here. I think he has the highest ceiling if all goes right. DJ, Derek Just, Carr or Cousins at quarterback?
Cousins.
Cousins for me as well. Wentz or Cousins?
Cousins.
Gibson or Hunt?
Gibson.
Clean sweep. Ertz or Patty Fry this week for Raylan?
I'm gonna go with Ertz.
Yep, Ertz for me as well. It was obviously it's a good sign to see how heavily involved Patty was. But I'm just going to go with the better overall offense and the better quarterback and trust that Ertz sees some more targets. He did come into that game with that questionable tag, missed some time in the preseason as well. So getting caught up to speed, I think Ertz will be the play going forward. This one specifically for you, Kev. CHB wants to know if it's time to drop Tyler Algier.
No, not after 1 week. I mean, of course, I think he was a healthy scratch last week, but I don't think it's going to be like that all year. And I don't think you keep, Tyler Algier is obviously the young option that they have, drafted him this year. He was a healthy scratch mainly because of special teams. The third running back they had up mainly just for special teams. Damian Williams looks like he was going, possibly had an injury. But I think that he's going to be okay for this week. But it's certainly something to monitor because he would then be the likely candidate to step right into that offense and get some opportunities. So no, I'm not dropping Tyler Algier. I mean, if you absolutely need somebody right now, and like there's somebody out there that you desperately want, I mean, I don't mind. Like you can drop them, but I'm not looking to drop them just to drop them.
Holy shit. Just realized how far behind we are on these questions. Kyle coming through with the $5 holla. Appreciate you, KD. Johnny Not Bravo coming through with the super chat as well. Penny, Deontay Johnson, or Hunt in the flex?
I'm going Deontay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Deontay there as well. Let's go a little rapid fire and try and catch up to some of these. Appreciate all you guys who have been patiently rocking with us. GA, is Jalen Reagor worth a dynasty stash and a half PPR? It really it really depends on your bench. Not to give you a non-answer there, but if your benches are deep enough, and if you're looking at your waiver wire and there's like not a ton out there, I still have Reagor on a team, but looking at my waiver wire, like there's really not a lot. It's also an IDP league, so that kind of shortens up the bench, so to speak, because we have to start 5 individual defensive players. But for him to be as bad as he was in Philly and then to go to a crowded room in Minnesota, it's going to be difficult. Obviously, it was a good sign that they dropped Amir Smith-Marset immediately for Reagor to make the 53 man, but I wish I could say yes. We both loved Jalen Reagor coming out. Pretty sure he was our top rookie wide receiver the year that he came out. It's again, if you have the room, sure, but I don't think that he's like a mustache by any means. Logan Mills need an RB1 and RB2 this week. Kamara, Hendo, Hunt, and Penny. Any advice? Came to the right place, Logan. We do have advice.
I'm going to go Alvin Kamara and Rashad Penny.
Okay. Samesies. RD, how do we feel about Aaron Jones against the Bears in a full PPR?
I mean, I don't know which other options are, but yeah, you're starting Aaron Jones this week. Last week was just kind of a little bit, I don't know. It was just another team that got off to a really slow start. Didn't really look very great. The offense wasn't very good. I expect them to bounce back in a big way this week. I think they're Sunday Night Football. So
Yeah, absolutely. It was frustrating because that was such a perfect game script for Aaron Jones to see double digit targets, and he just didn't. Would you drop Pollard for Higbee? My other RBs are Fournette, Chubb, Dylan, Penny. My tight end is Fryermuth.
No, I mean you already have why? I mean you're not getting any upgrade for Tyler Higbee to Pat Freiermuth, so you're already losing, and then we're definitely not dropping Tony Pollard.
Jose starts it in an 8-man. Here we go. Russ, Najee, Henry, Hill, Sutton, Schultz, Javante, McPherson, Steelers D. On the bench is Gibson, Jacobs, J. Rob, Ayuk, Mooney, Devonta Smith.
I think you leave it the way you got it.
Yeah, and invested a lot in the running backs there, Jose. Yeah, I think I'm leaving it. Although I do want to say sit Henry for Gibson, but I won't. I won't. Deontay, Hollywood, or Bateman flex PPR this week for Raylan.
Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood for me as well. Listen to Raylan's advice. Like the vid. Subscribe. Appreciate all you. Appreciate you for being patient. Debro, our Debro, picked up Wentz. Only way I have to justify is because Dak is hurt. Also have Winston playing Tampa. Dak injury starting Devonta instead of Brees. I lost by 9. Would you be picking up Wentz if you had Winston? Or then if you did pick up Wentz, would you drop Winston? Because now carrying 3 quarterbacks on this team.
I mean, if it's for the 1 week, let's see, what does the Saints schedule look like after this week? I mean, I don't think Carson Wentz is a long-term option by any means. I don't think he is completely turned the. So, like, basically, looking at this, what we have for them is they have I mean, obviously the Bucks. Then they get the Panthers, the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Raiders. I mean, there's a lot of matchups in there that I'm not worried about at all. Their matchup, and so I would say after this week, you're probably wanting to go back to Jameis anyway. And so I think if for this 1 week, if you wanted to go with Carson Wentz, who we love their matchup this week, and I like him more than Dak, but this is going to be a 1 week play where I'm fine with it for 1 week. If you're just going to immediately go to, I wouldn't want to drop Winston because I think from here on out, you're probably going to want to go back to Winston.
And don't beat yourself up for starting Devonta over Brees. But I'm sure we would have given you the same advice. Just I don't think anyone saw a zero burger coming from Smitty. Kind of unrelated to start sit, but would you trade Jeff Wilson for Adam Thielen in a non PPR?
Yeah, especially in non PPR because of his red zone usage.
Yes, I would as well. Danny, how are we feeling about DJ Moore and Scary Terry? For me, I just don't see this came up a bunch in our Discord. I don't know if we have the link in the video description, but you can go check out any of our other videos and you can join the Discord for free if you guys would like to do that. But in the Discord today, we were getting a lot of like Curtis Samuel, TMC stuff, and I just can't see Curtis Samuel getting 11 targets at TMC's 4 going forward. I think that was just a symptom of Wentz probably playing with Dotson and Curtis Samuel more, while Scary Terry was kind of doing his sit-in thing, waiting on the new contract. So I don't think that's going to be the case going forward with DJ Moore. I mean, who knows what was like Baker? We saw the same kind of things we saw at Cleveland, right? Where you saw the flashes of holy shit, that was a great throw, and then the same thing of like why? What was he doing there? So I think their ceilings are probably both a little limited for the time being, but probably going to be hard to sit them unless you went, wide receiver heavy. I think you probably just have to ride out the storm. Carlos, Waddle or St. Brown? This is going to be Waddle for both of us. RP, PPR start one, Dobbins, ETN, or Akers? Oh, probably thought you were sitting pretty at the draft. Then week one came and kicked you right in the dick.
And that's how it oh so often goes. I am going to go with Cam Akers.
I'm going to go Akers as well. I'm just give me with Dobbins. Who knows what his workload's like? Even if he comes back, has full practices all week. Can't imagine they're just gonna. It's gonna be a committee anyway, right? That's what the Ravens have been doing. Even if Dobbins gets like a full complement, he's still only seeing 55% of the running back snaps anyway. And you add all this injury stuff on top of it. Just give me the best offense and hope that Akers bounces back. Another one here from RP. Start one, Deontay, DJ Moore, Michael Thomas.
I'm going to go Deontay.
Yes. Do we think guys like Robbie Anderson or Devin Duvernay can overtake the wide receiver one on their respective teams in terms of fantasy production this year?
Robbie Anderson, definitely not. At all. And so
And
Robbie
I will
Anderson
say the same for Devin Duvernay.
Yeah, I mean Robbie Anderson was a 75-yard touchdown, and that's it, right? I mean, other than that, it was I think it was like he had 27 yards other than that, and so on the other opportunities he got, so that was very boom or bust option, right? And that's what he's going to be. And so no, he's not going to overtake DJ Moore. DJ Moore is still the alpha, the unquestioned number one wide receiver on this offense, and so I'm not worried about that. And then Devin Duvernay, like I think there's a path for him, but like he's not going to, I don't think, overtake Rashad Bateman either. And so
I think Duvernay also had 2 touchdowns on 4 catches.
Yeah.
So I don't think so for either of those guys. Double M, start 2.5 PPR. Sutton, Bateman, Deontay, Boyd if Higgins is out.
Sutton and Deontay.
I will go
even if T. Higgins is out, I would still go Deontay and Sutton.
Dominique, what about Kamara's rib injury limited today? Start thinking about starting Hunt over him.
I don't. So like we don't really. I mean, practice reports don't really matter until like Friday is the big one. Like Friday is when we care because you're going to start to see, like especially Wednesdays, you'll see a lot of veterans sit on Wednesday or limited because Thursday and especially Friday are the 2 biggest days for practice. If he's already getting in limited, I think he's going to be fine.
Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon for Mark?
This is where we're at. I'm going to go Aaron Jones. But I have Aaron Jones at 16 in mine and 18 for A.J. Dillon. So very close.
Yeah. I mean, it's also Aaron Jones for me, but I'd be trying to move on from one of those guys as soon as possible because I just wouldn't want to be
if you had
with this.
Because we had a couple questions about this too. Like, if you had to trade one of them, who are you trading? And then, actually, let me just ask that first.
So the way I would do this to live the hedge life is I would just put both on the trade block and see what kind of nibbles you get. That's how I would do it, and kind of just I would let the league decide for me, and just see what your return is. That's how I would handle it.
So I would try to wait and hope that Aaron Jones had a very good game this weekend, and then I would try to move him because his value is not nearly as high right now as what it could be. And if like this weekend he goes out and has one of his patented Aaron Jones games where he just crushes, then if he wanted to move one of them, then I think that would be the opportune time to do so.
Johnny, sorry we missed this. For the RB2 spot, Penny Hunt or J-Rob?
Rashad Penny.
Rashad Penny for me as well. So I'm just scrolling down to see how buried that we were with questions. Travis Elkins, Carr with Adams or Rodgers and pick one wide receiver. Lazard, Juju, Hollywood, Brown, standard.
I'm going to go with Juju. And then what do I have? And then I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers.
You're going Rodgers over Carr?
Yeah. I have Rodgers at 11 and I have Derek Carr at 12. So
I'm going to stick with Carr. I want to see it from that offense first. So it's going to be Carr, Adams, and that's really close. In a standard, I'm going to go Juju. I'll go Juju in a standard. I think he has the best shot at scoring a touchdown over Hollywood. That's close, though.
Last fish in the pond. Happy to see you back, my guy. Back with the survivor pool again. You know,
he was with us on Sunday. I was thinking about it a lot because I was talking about, kind of picking some different teams. I was hoping we were going to see last fish here because I told him to go again. I said I didn't like the Cleveland Carolina game. And it looked like I was going to be right. And Cleveland won at the last minute. So I'm glad to see Fish is still surviving in the fish pond. Any of these picks make you consider Browns, Broncos, Rams, Colts? So we got Colts against the Jags, Browns against the Jets. What were the other ones?
Broncos against the Texans and Rams against the Falcons.
Yeah.
My confidence level is much higher on the Broncos and Rams. And probably I think the Colts Jags can kind of go either way. I think the Jags are going to be better this year. And so that one I don't feel as good about. And then the Browns, I feel it's probably right there. I mean, Jacoby Brissett is just a game manager. It's going to depend on how if the defense can hold up for the Browns, because that's what this is going to be every single week with them, is trying to just manage it through this very much like they did with Baker Mayfield. But yeah.
That's the Jags Colts opened up with a spread of 4.5, and that's been bet down to 4. So people are putting money on the Jags, and then it's the opposite with the Browns and Jets. Opened up at 5.5, and now that's at -6.5 in favor for the Browns. Chubb and Hunt gonna eat. PPR Ingram or Logan Thomas, or I could grab Taysom Hill. This one for Alex DeStefano.
I'm going to go with Evan Ingram.
Going Ingram as well. Although I definitely didn't see that amount of targets coming from Logan Thomas coming off the injury that he had at the end of the season. But it's going to be Ingram for me as well. Starting Wentz, Swift, Chubb, JJ Pitt, Schultz. Flex options are Lazard, Brees, Devonta, Jameson Williams. Is Jameson Williams playing?
No.
Okay. I missed that one too. Or do I go pick up Samuel? And if so, who do I drop? So Lazard, Brees, Smitty.
No, I don't think so. No, I think I would stick with, if Lazard plays, you're playing Lazard. If he does not play, then I think you just pivot to Brees Hall.
If Kittle sits Logan Thomas, Hurst, or Conklin in a standard.
I'm going to go with Hurst.
I'll go Hurst as well. Andre Moore, would you trade Eckler for Jamar Chase? Full PPR 10-team league. Already have Saquon and Aaron Jones.
What are the wide receivers you have? Because I think it's a little bit of a wash, really, on what the expected outcome for each one of them are probably every week. But I would slightly lean towards Jamar Chase that I'd rather have. a little more confident about him. But and I think you're good at running back, obviously with Saquon, but Aaron Jones worries me. Like, what are we? Because like I also think maybe I would rather try to keep Eckler than try to, like I said, like maybe try to move Aaron Jones for somebody else if that's what you're trying to do. If you're trying to, maybe make your wide receivers a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree. Andre, if you're still rocking with us, let us know what the rest of that squad looks like. Mel, Albert O, Logan Thomas are available. Should I drop Irv Smith for one of them in a PPR?
I think you could drop him for Alberto, but I think we're a little bit too early as well with this, and maybe holding on to Irv Smith for another week or two to see what he does. But
yeah, Alberto is the one that I would drop Irv for. Should I trade Kelsey for Eckler and Amon-Ra in a full PPR?
absolutely.
Thy joke's on you, new face over there on Twitch. Who to drop for J.K. Dobbins? Montgomery, Gainwell, Rashad Penny, Jeff Wilson, Debo, and Jamal Williams.
I mean, I think you could drop Jeff Wilson for him if you wanted. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say Jeff Wilson is,
or Jamal. I mean, I guess if that's Jamal Williams from the Lions, then yeah, I think you could do that too. Or Kenneth Gainwell. Like I think all of those are options that you could drop him for to get J.K. Dobbins.
I'd lean Jeff Wilson just because I want to see what comes of this ankle injury for Swift. I mean, we don't have any reason to think that it's anything major, but just in case, I would not want to be dropping him just yet. My cousin traded Henderson and Fournette for Tyreek and Terry McLaurin.
I think it's a win, but the question is also like, who do you have left at running back? Now you just traded Fournette. Like, did you create a hole to help something else? Right?
Yeah. Okay, so Andre had the Eckler for Jamar Chase question. My receivers are Higgins and Cortland Sutton. I'm not sure that I would want to trade Eckler for Jamar Chase and have Chase and Higgins. I mean, obviously, I think that that's a good enough offense. You can feel fine to start both of them, but I don't know that I would. If I drafted that way, I'd be okay, but I don't know if I'd want to trade into that, if that makes sense. DeAndre Swift season indeed. Sent Debo, Fournette, Henderson, Patterson for JT Andrews, Gabe Davis, 12-team full PPR. Yes, that is crushed it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're getting the best player in the deal with JT. Then Andrews. How did you pull this off? Just in here bragging and boasting. Akers and Henderson remind me of Swift and Williams. Trey Lance or Russ Wilson for this week?
I'm going Russell Wilson.
Russ for me as well. E.T. String the Broncos defense week 1. Want to know your thoughts on week 2 against Houston, or if I should go Bengals, Packers, or Vikings instead.
No, I'm still sticking with Denver. I actually have them at 5 this week, so I would prefer them over those other options.
In an 18 week, should I trade Lamb for Evans and A-Rob? Or am I panicking on CD for no reason?
Oh, no. If you can get Mike Evans and Allen Robinson, yeah, you're doing that.
Yeah.
Especially with Dak out for the next, 6 to 8 weeks probably.
Yes. Kev, I answered earlier, still torn between Curtis Samuel and Mooney at the flex, full PPR. Need your stamp of approval.
It's Darnell Mooney. We shouldn't be. I wouldn't. I would throw everything out about that game for the Chicago Bears offense, because that game was just so disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather conditions. They were never going to be able to throw the ball in that, and so I'm not worried about that one bit. So yes, it's still Darnell Mooney.
Full PPR for the sideline star, Dylan Edmonds Sanders, which two in a full PPR, as I already said.
AJ Dillon and Miles Sanders.
Same for me. TX, sup, boys? Who to play between Henderson or Zeke? Half PPR. This is where we're at.
Hey, somebody found one for me to get to. I'm going to say it. I don't know. Like, though, I will say this though with Zeke. Like now without Dak, like this really looks disgusting to me. First, and that offensive line did not look very good at all for Dallas either. And so I don't know. Like I don't hate actually going Darrell Henderson just because the matchup is so good.
Did you just talk yourself into and then out of?
Yeah, I guess
I'm gonna go Zeke, but it is way closer than it should be.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that.
Don Baum. Start 2, A-Rob, Curtis Samuel, DJ Chark.
Look at that. The old dominator, Dale Earnhardt and the Avi. Love to see that. The Intimidator. No? Okay. You live in the South now. Like you should be all about NASCAR.
There is actually a road right by me that is Dale Earnhardt Boulevard.
Oh well, there you go. There you go.
I think there must be some kind. I think he has like some claim to this area. I don't know if like he grew up in the city where I'm at now or what, but there's a couple Earnhardt things. Anyway, start 2, A-Rob, Curtis Samuel, DJ Chark.
I'm gonna go Allen Robinson, and then I'm gonna go with DJ Chark.
Samesies. Who to play between Hollywood MG3 or Mooney in a half PPR for TX416?
This is gonna be Hollywood for me.
Yes, it is. What about Tanyan over Knox for AO?
No, I'm still gonna go Knox. Like I don't mind Tanyan, and I think it was encouraging. I mean, 5 targets for him last week. That's not bad at all. But I'm still going to give Knox, a little bit more of a leash here than that. I currently have Knox at 13, and I have Tanyan at 17. So
I moved Tanyan up. I think I might have him at 13 or 14, but I have Knox ahead of him. Kev, you're talking about Josh Palmer on the wide receiver show that we dropped earlier today, talking about our rankings. Are you going Eli Moore or Josh Palmer now that we know that Keenan Allen is out?
I think you probably go Elijah Moore, but it is close.
Really?
I do really, really like Josh Palmer in this.
I think I'm going Josh Palmer. Better offense. Better game.
You don't have to pull my leg. Yeah, let's go Josh Palmer.
Let's go. I can't believe you actually tried to say Elijah Moore there. The guy who's been talking about Josh Palmer for the past 4 months. Then you're going to try and Eli. Get it. Come on. Jay Miggy, is Najee worth starting this week?
Yes. A lot of people had him lower. Then whenever I first started, when I first did my rankings, and I was kind of looking at what some of the people had him, and I was kind of surprised how low they had him. Like, I still have him at 12.
Sorry, guys. These super chats aren't popping up for some reason the way they normally do. Zinski, Lamb or London at PPR?
I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb.
It's close, though, isn't it? Way closer than it should be.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, maybe Cooper Rush can be somewhat competent.
Turtle Man with a hot dog Avi. 2 to start a non-PPR. Kamara, Dillon, Hunt.
Kamara and A.J. Dillon.
Hawk or Patty Fry? I'm going to go Patty Fry here. It's close, but Frymu's target volume is quite encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that Hawkinson. I mean, Hawkinson saw 7 targets last week, 4 for 38. I'm gonna go with Hawkinson.
Coward. Paul Anthony traded away Akers for ETN.
I don't think you're necessarily gonna regret it, but like, I don't know. Like kind of like exactly what we talked about, right? With these two, or with both these situations, where I think Akers still has a track to overtake this backfield from Daryl Henderson. And I mean, Sean McVay can say whatever he wants, but his history shows that he wants a true workhorse back. I mean, it's exactly kind of what we saw with Daryl Henderson last week. We saw the same thing last year. Early in the season, it was Daryl Henderson. The second half, it was Sony Michel. Like, they want to lead back. And so if they go back to Cam Akers, which I suspect they will, then maybe you can end up regretting this. But Travis Etienne, I think, has more of a especially pass catching wise. Like, Cam Akers has never really been much of a pass catcher, where Travis Etienne could end up just carving out his role as just being a very strong pass catching running back. And maybe this is a little bit more like maybe that's the situation where you look at it like a Swift and Jamal Williams situation, where that's what kind of how these two operate.
CHB wants to know, is Jordan Mason still worth stashing? Yes, absolutely. We talked about it. Jeff Wilson, it's not like he has a great track record of staying healthy. We know that Kyle Shanahan can just completely flip the script whenever the hell he wants to, and Jordan Mason could end up being the guy. So yeah, definitely still worth stashing if you have the bench and roster space for it. High upside, low risk. Chat and TFA crew need your help. Should I trade Jalen Warren and Rachaad White to the owner of Najee and Fournette for Daryl Henderson, or just hold? So trading away 2 handcuffs to pick up Henderson.
Yeah.
I would too. I mean, Rachaad White's usage was definitely encouraging to see whenever Fournette got a little bit banged up there. But Jalen Warren doesn't matter to me. That's an easy one to get rid of. The thing that would hold me back is the upside of Rachaad White if Fournette were to go down. But I think you can't make that move. Oh. Henderson or Penny. This is going to be Penny for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Which 2 to start here? Breece Hall, Damian Harris, or Ken Walker?
I think it's just one. What RB2 should I start?
Reading is hard. All right.
I'm going to go Breece Hall.
Yeah. And you just got to hope that the targets continue to be funneled the running back's way. Edmonds or Penny. This is going to be Penny for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I will say that Rashad Penny looked really good last week and limited opportunities. I mean, he looked explosive. The same guy we saw last year looked very good. So I do like that. But it's not the greatest of matchups against San Francisco, the 49ers. But yeah, I would just lean towards Rashad Penny.
Appreciate the super chat there. God over everything. Aquaman coming through. CEH or Miles Sanders and a half PPR. This one's going to be CEH for me.
Yeah.
Noel rocking with us. Christian Kirk or Rashad Bateman in the PPR.
I'm going to go Christian Kirk.
Let's go. Cousins or Carr. Opponent has Adams if that matters.
That never matters. It's not usually worth enough for it to matter. And so but I'm going to go Kirk Cousins. I love Kirk Cousins this week. I have him as a top 8 quarterback. So
Emmanuel, this is That's rough. that is that is rough. Hate to see it. Glad to see you here, though, Emmanuel, rocking with us from West Africa.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what they were thinking. Like, I don't get it.
No.
You had 50 seconds left in the game. I get it that, whatever, because like there's the people that are like, oh, well, if you would have made it, no one would be saying anything. It still doesn't change the fact that it was a stupid decision. Like a
Correct.
64-yard field goal is
Right.
tough to do, right? Like and I think his career, like 62 or more, I think he's never made one more than that, obviously. And so he's missed every opportunity he's had. Some of those have been in, obviously in Mile High, were there and everything. So like it's just like you have Russell Wilson, you spent all this money on him and bringing him here and all the assets, like 4th and 5, you should be able to get that. Like I could never imagine like the Chargers or the Bills or the Chiefs or all these teams with elite quarterbacks, like saying, no, we're going to take the ball out of your hand. We're going to have Harrison Bucker kick a 64-yard field goal or, whatever. Like it just didn't make any sense. There was so much time still left in that game. They should have just went for it on 4th and 5. Put the ball in
Yeah.
your best player's hands, pick up a first down with Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton or Albert O or Javonte Williams at that point, who was getting a lot of targets as well. Pick it up and keep it moving and make it an easier field goal. But that just didn't make any sense to me. But anyways, I digress.
Not at all. Slim Reaper, yes, we did touch on the Robinson ETN thing. Both these guys are more RB3 flex level plays for the time being. Chris, half PPR pick 2, Mooney, Landry, Devonta Smith.
First two.
Yes. Would you do Najee and Pittman for Evans and Chubb coming from Abraham?
No.
You want Pittman?
Yeah. I don't want to.
Even though you were talking about just wanting to move off.
I want to move off Najee. I do, but I don't like. I don't think to me the Pittman and Evans thing. I don't think you're upgrading. I think I would rather have Pittman over Mike Evans, and so like I don't think that's a hot take. Like we saw kind of what he did this past week. There's no other target competition there. Mike Evans is going to have to deal with when Chris Godwin comes back. Julio Jones looks like maybe he still has something left in the tank, and if he can stay healthy, Russell Gage. I mean, there's a lot of target competition there where Michael Pittman has none of it. So I do not want to move off Michael Pittman to make and I don't even know, like I said, and I would view if Najee Harris is healthy the rest of the year, Najee Harris is the better option than Nick Chubb. Okay, and so my concern is with this foot injury that he continuously is having issues with. Like I feel like it's going to come where he's going to end up dislocating it and he's going to need surgery, and then his season will be done for the year. And so it's a gamble because it's also the possibility that it doesn't happen and he's fine the rest of the year. But it's just there's a lot of things going against him and that factors against him that I would just personally try to move him if I could. But that's not the trade that I would be looking to make.
Bob McDonald, does Matthew Stafford's performance scare you guys at all? Should I look for a trade or will he be a good keep for the rest of the NFL season? I think this would be fine, but I think if maybe you could try and like make a sneaky like Stafford for Cousins, like maybe you look at doing something like that. Like if you're worried about the elbow injury that he might be dealing with for the rest of the year, but I think it's gonna be fine. That Buffalo team's for real. It was a slow start. They didn't play at all during the preseason, so I think he's going to bounce back this week. But if you wanted to go, maybe do like because I think at the end, I guess, of draft season, we had Stafford and Cousins pretty close. So you're going to be swapping them there if you are concerned. Callaway or Rager for a dynasty stash? Yes, it does make a. I would want to take Rager here. Obviously, you have the draft capital, the athleticism. I think both probably similarly aged. I think Callaway was a little bit older coming out, but yeah, I would rather take the upside shot on Rager. Callaway had his shot last year. I know the Saints offense wasn't great, but he was the clear-cut number one and didn't really do much with his opportunity. James Johnson just received a trade. I get Lamb, Pitts, and Tony for CMC, Njoku, and Juju.
No
Still
deal.
have no deal?
No. If he gets CeeDee Lamb, Pitts, and Tony, I do not want that. I want CMC and Juju in that. And Njoku's kind of whatever. Obviously, you're getting a big No, I mean he's getting Kyle Pitts, which is obviously a big upgrade at tight end. Kadarius Toney is a somebody that I like and I hope, but right now it looks like the Giants don't want to use him for whatever reason there is. I mean, really, since Brian Daboll's come on, we've had the rumors about him possibly being traded, and I love Kadarius Toney, and I like this year if they would give him the opportunities, but I don't know if they're going to. And CeeDee Lamb's now went from somebody that we thought could be a top 5, top 6 wide receiver this year to now he's like a wide receiver 3 in the situation that he's in. Like, I think he has wide receiver 2 upside, but he's much more of a wide receiver 3 now without Dak. And so we'll see how long it's going to be Dak. Dak's going to be out. And so, no, we're not making that trade.
Manuel, I need 2 wide receivers on a 12-team half PPR. Scary Terry, A-Rob, Cooks, Davis.
Last 2, Brandon Cooks and Gabe Davis.
Would you, Kev, your boy, would you drop Palmer for A-Rob?
Yeah, I think you probably do. You don't have any. Is there any running back options? I mean, is there somebody else we can drop? We have to drop Josh Palmer for Allen Robinson, but I mean, if he's out there, then yeah, I'm doing it.
Is that supposed to be Deebo Samuel or is that Corey Davis? Because I think if that's Corey Davis.
Oh, if that's Corey Davis, we're talking about something different. Or is that Curtis Samuel? I don't know.
so many.
I'm guessing. Well, I don't know because he put everybody's last name or he put everybody's name,
right?
Except for Marquise Brown. So I don't know. Derek, if you're in here, give us some clarification. Because if that's Corey Davis, we're dropping Corey Davis all day. If that's Curtis Samuel, I'm dropping Curtis Samuel all day.
Yeah. Let's rank these. I'm not entirely sure what we need here for some Reaper, but J-Rob, ETN, Jeff Wilson. How are you ranking those 3 for week 2? Are you finally going to say something nice about Jeff Wilson?
Yeah, I think that's where I go Jeff Wilson. I think it's where you go Jeff Wilson, yeah.
And who do you have higher, Robinson or ETN for week 2?
I would go ETN at this point.
Dropped Dak and got Wentz. Good move.
For this week, it is. I don't think, like, long term, I love Carson Wentz. I like him a lot this week. He's actually somebody that we hit on in the show that'll be coming out tomorrow with quarterbacks and tight ends. But I just can't trust long term. Right now, let's just look at their schedule really quickly. They play the Jags, they get the Lions, then they get the Eagles, tough matchup, Cowboys, whatever, Titans, Bears, Packers, Colts, Vikings. I mean, there's some spots in here where they get the Texans, they get the Falcons. Like, there's some spots in here, but like most of this, like, isn't like great matchups for him. And so, like, this would be a 1-week ad that we use for this week, and we keep moving.
We need 2 to non-PPR for Boba Fett. Evans, Juju, Davis.
Juju, no. I would go Mike Evans and Gabe Davis.
Okay. RD. I wish I could remember what we're talking about. Let me see if I can scroll up here and find it. Oh, Lord. RD, if you're still rocking with us, or wait. This is in reference to how do we feel about Aaron Jones against the Bears full PPR.
Say that one more time.
The question was, how are we feeling about Aaron Jones against the Bears in a full PPR? And then I think we said it kind of depends on what your other options are. Here are the other options.
Okay. Then, yeah, you're playing Aaron Jones, though. CH and Cordell Patterson aren't too far off as options that you could go with. But, yeah, I would still probably prefer Aaron Jones in that situation.
And that Samuel is Curtis Samuel for Derek.
Oh, yeah, then just drop Curtis Samuel.
Boom. West 305, what's good? Is that outside of Beaver Stadium? No. Looks like it might be outside of Penn State. Anyway, CEH or Gabe Davis, PPR.
I'm going to go Gabe Davis here.
Let's go. CB. Lost Mitchell and Swift's questionable. Zeke, Pierce, Hunt, ETN. I need 2. Let's assume that Swift obviously sits out. If Swift plays, we're plugging him in. Let's say that he does not.
If he does it, I'm going to go Zeke and Kareem Hunt.
Then do you have Zeke over Hunt for this week?
Yes.
We need a flex here for Emmanuel and a half PPR. CEH or Sanders. We were going CEH there. Already have Taylor and Fournette as my starting RB. There you go. Nice. Hall, Harris, Walker, NFL Fantasy saying Penny's usage will be shared a lot with Walker. Pete Carroll has never really shared a backfield. You know, he'll get some guys in. You know, he'll mix in, you know, a Travis Homer here and there, a DJ Dallas here and there, but I don't see them really splitting this first week anyway. We have to remember Walker missed some time in the preseason. You know, apparently wasn't looking good there for a little bit, then started to get some praise from Pete Carroll toward the end, but we've never really seen Pete Carroll implement a running back by committee. He normally sticks with one guy.
Yeah.
Mooney or Elijah Moore in a PPR for Shane?
It's Darnell Mooney for me.
You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm. Ken, is this real? Did you really do that? If you did, great work. Great work. I couldn't. I would have fallen over myself trying to get to my phone. Like I just hit that accept button.
Yeah, I accidentally hit decline instead.
And I would cry.
Edmonds or Jeff Wilson?
Jeff Wilson.
Ooh, interesting. I'm gonna go Chase Edmonds there. Ken also has a question: Juju or McLaurin full PPR?
This is Juju. I really love him. Yeah.
Yep. DP Daryl Pressey, Gage Palmer, DPJ, or Corey Davis for the season?
It's still Joshua Palmer.
Okay. Julio or ETN for Maria?
I'm gonna go Julio.
Let's go. Another trade here for Ken. Javonte for CD.
That was not a good choice.
You win some and you lose some.
Yeah. I definitely would have, not have made that move, and I would have stuck with Javonte Williams.
Yeah. Zeke or Michael Carter here for Oliver?
These people are just hitting it right where I have to pick my least favorite running back. It is. I'm gonna go Zeke. You gotta go Zeke here. This gets
Youngberg, huh?
This one gets interesting.
This is Mike Williams for me.
Youngberg. Who has he asked any other questions? Like who are your other running backs? Because I really, really want to start Mike Williams, but I really don't want to sit Najee Harris either. You're still rocking with us, and you don't say that. Let us know what the rest of your team looks like. But if I absolutely had to make a decision, I would still go Najee.
Really? Give me Mike Williams. Coming from the guy who's always swinging for upside, and are going to take Najee in a terrible offense. What's the total? Let me see. Let me check.
I already told you, like the Steelers are like 19.5. Yeah, I would go Mike Williams. Let's go Mike Williams.
Thank you. Can't believe I have to twist your arm on some of these questions tonight. Would you drop Dontrell Hilliard for J-Rob?
Yes, I would. Yep.
Evan Wheeler wants to know thoughts on Taysom Hill. Thanks for the great live. Appreciate you rocking with us. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please hit us with a sub and a like. It really helps us grow, helps us get in front of new faces. We're going to be doing lives every Wednesday night, answering your questions. This week only, the DFS show is going to be live on Friday. If you are into player props, we're going to do that on Saturday, and then we'll be back with you on Sunday morning from 11 to 12:30, 12:45-ish. For more start sets on Sunday morning. So a lot more lives, a lot more content coming your way. But back over to the thoughts on Taysom Hill. We talked about Taysom Hill on the QB tight end show that'll be coming out tomorrow morning. Basically, what it comes down to is he is the ultimate, zero floor, high ceiling kind of guy. You're not going to be able to trust him. Yes, he, put up a bunch of fantasy points, was lined up everywhere. The dude played less than 20 snaps. That's going to be really, really hard to trust on a week in, week out basis. Hardcore. I love it. The name is just hardcore. Should I trade CPAT for Zeke?
I feel like Robbie just made a bunch of burners just to try to answer all these to see how far he can even go. I think I would. Yeah, I would. No, I would. I would rather have Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, I mean,
you just can't feel good about this offense without Dak Prescott. And plus their offensive line, it just did not look very good. There's just a lot of red flags for me with Zeke. I don't hate it. If you want to do it, fine. But if it's PPR, I think I would rather have Cordell Patterson. We know Cordell Patterson is going to utilize heavily as a pass catcher. I mean, he surprisingly played 85% last week. I think he got able to. Let's see it. Bring it up real quick. At 84.4% of the opportunities in this backfield last weekend, and 62.9% of the snaps. The 22 carries was pretty surprising. 5 targets, I mean, there's not. I mean, yeah, I like Tyler Algier as an option, but I mean, it's Damian Williams the other option there. Because I was actually surprised because they utilized him a little bit differently than I would have expected because he only ran 10 routes last week, which was 41st among all. But he did see a 15.6% target share. So whenever they had him out there running routes, obviously he was targeted. He was still top 15 in yards per out run. And so there's lots of there with Cordell Patterson. It's just there's just not. I have less concerns with Cordell Patterson, as crazy as it sounds, than Ezekiel Elliott. And I think Cordell Patterson may actually have a higher ceiling than Zeke does.
Who would have thought this is where it would be? It was also interesting because we had heard that they were going to try and save CPAT a little bit, and not use him as much, and that plan got thrown out the window already week 1. 808 CBR, who would you start, Edmonds or Jeff Wilson? I think we were split on this one, right? You said Wilson, I said Edmonds.
Yeah.
So if somebody in the chat wants to help break the tie there, we're split on that one. Caleb Young, would you trade Hopkins and Zeke for Kamara and Sanders?
Yep.
Yeah. Thomas, what's going on? The only prop that I have in right now, and I haven't checked to see if the line has moved, but I took Juju over 57.5 receiving yards. That's currently the only one I have. I think what am I haven't seen anything on Mike Williams yet. I'm assuming he's probably going to be somewhere around the same that Juju is, and if so, I'll probably take that over as well. But those are the only ones I think. Patty Mahomes is up to 297 or right above 300, depending on where you look. So should be a great game just to watch. But the only one I have in right now, like I said, is Juju over 57.5, and I love that line. New England or Pitt's defense. So got the matchup here going against each other. What defense do you like?
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
Even without what?
Yeah. Okay. That New England offense looks fucking terrible.
Yeah. Rating this team for the NBA GOAT in a standard. Burrow, Henderson, Fournette at running back, Pittman, JJ, Kelsey, Hall, Julio, and Pollard. Gotta love those pass catchers.
Yeah.
Solid. I mean, in a 10 team, I would want a better RB2. But having Pittman, JJ, and Kelsey kind of balances the rest of that out.
I'm going on down the bottom, but this just made me laugh. What would you do here? Your wife or season tickets for the team of your choice for your life for life? You can pick a new team each season.
I'm gonna go wife, just because going like I feel so old saying this, but going to a game is just it's such a production. Talking about the traffic and the parking and dealing with all that shit. That is that's a lot. I much prefer to just sit down on a Sunday and be able to pull up whatever game I want to watch whatever screen, sweatpants, cheap beers, whatever food I want, not having to wait in line for bathrooms. Ask me this a couple years ago, I think my answer would be different. But especially because I don't have it like a team. Like, it's cool that I could pick a new team each season, but I'm gonna hold it down with the wife for this one.
I agree. I feel just as old as you do.
It's too much.
It really is, and especially now with all the technology with the TV, and you can jump from NFL Red Zone and watch Red Zone, and
Yeah.
go back to the game, all this stuff. There's just it makes it so much. It's so much better. It is so it is tough because season tickets would be awesome and everything else, but yeah, it would eventually you're just kind of whatever. I'd rather just stay home and watch it.
It'd be interesting if it was like Super Bowl tickets for life. Then once a year, I could do that. I could do that.
Yeah.
But 9 times a year, I don't know. So old. Thanks for making me feel old. Appreciate that question. DC Frost, ETN or Metcalf in a PPR?
I'm gonna go Metcalf.
Yeah, I think you have to. Booty Warrior, let's go. Booty,
Love
booty,
the name.
booty,
I say it
booty,
every time.
rocking
Love
everywhere.
the name. Great name.
Thoughts on ETN moving forward?
Right now, I think kind of we've talked about. I think that he is a shame because I thought that I was hoping that we were really hoping, and a lot of this hype that we had for him and love that I had for him came whenever it sounded like James Robinson was going to not be available or he was going to miss the start of the season. With James Robinson just coming in like a wrecking ball, it's just I like Travis Etienne still, and I think he's going to be fine in PPR formats, but he doesn't have the same type of ceiling that we were hoping for with him. And so I still think that this is kind of talked about already. This feels like a DeAndre Swift, where Travis Etienne can be DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams is James Robinson. That feels like what it's going to be. And there's going to be weeks where it's going to be really frustrating for it. So
Abraham wants to know: we trade Pittman and Jacobs for Hill, Monty, and Mecole Hardman?
No.
That is correct. Jacobs or Penny from 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 Blaze?
I think that's Josh Jacobs for me. I think I have Josh Jacobs just a little bit higher. Yes, I do. So I'm going to go Josh Jacobs.
I'm going to go Penny. Like I said, just less running backs to split touches with. Like I said, I'm not buying in on the. I mean, maybe Ken Walker gets worked in a little bit, but I just really can't see them splitting the backfield touches. Who can I drop for? Rashad White, Pickens, Romeo, or Tony in a non-PPR? In a non-PPR, I think you can drop Tony.
I think I would drop George Pickens.
I don't hate that either. I mean, I think you could honestly probably drop any of these guys in a non-PPR. Tony would be my 1, Pickens 2, and then Romeo would be last. Just because I think Romeo has a path to being the wide receiver 1 on that team, where the other guys, I'm just not seeing it. Especially Tony in a non-PPR. Pickens is going to have a lot of guys to go through before he becomes the wide receiver 1. Braden, should I put Brandon Cooks in my flex for Aaron Jones or at wide receiver 2 for Hollywood with Murray starting? So we have the Murray-Hollywood stack. Or do we? What are you doing here, Kev?
I'm not starting Brandon Cooks over Aaron Jones or Hollywood Brown.
On the bench,
yeah,
he stays. Who'd you rather roster, ETN or Breece Hall?
It's really close. I would go Breece Hall.
It's going to be Breece Hall for me as well. Crab gravy. I know it's the second time we're seeing that, but like the name is just settling in for me at this point. So Penny over Montgomery. You also have Khalil Herbert. Penny over him also as flex. Barkley and Dalvin is my 1-2 punch. Nice. Yeah, so it'd be Penny over Monty for me. And I think you said Monty, didn't you?
No, this would be Penny for me.
Okay. Stafford and Carr's QB. Should I drop one for Cousins? Just drop all of them for Cousins.
Yeah, Abraham, is this a super flex? Then it's obviously completely different. But if it's not a super flex, I'm just gonna roll Stafford and drop Derek Carr.
Should I trade Mooney for Miles Sanders? 10-team PPR.
No, I want Darnell Mooney. I mean, unless you're like really thin at running back, like I don't think it's like incredibly far off, like an outlandish of a trade to make. But I would just prefer Darnell Mooney.
Carter Cousins is going to be Cousins for both of us. Jacobs, A-Rob, Henderson start 1. I'm not scared. I'm going A-Rob.
I want to go Josh Jacobs.
He would be next in line over Henderson for me for sure. Ty Z, should I trade London and Aaron Jones for Javonte Williams in a full PPR? Other RBs are CMC, Mixon, AJ Dillon. Wide receivers are Moore, Judy, London, Olave, Lazard, and Watson.
I'm going to say no. Like Aaron Jones and Javonte aren't like incredibly. Like I just.
Are you sure?
I don't know. It's tough because you know how much I love. Like, what would you think? Because I have bias, and so like I try to remove it when I answer these questions.
The only thing that gives me pause is that wide receiver room is a little weak. So, especially with the questions surrounding DJ Moore, having Lazard and Watson, you're kind of hamstringing yourself. You're never going to start both those guys. Olave, another young wide receiver who, he has the upside, but, didn't get targeted a ton last week. That's the only thing. I don't mind moving on. We talked about having Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon a little bit earlier. I don't mind trying to move Jones to get Javonte Williams.
What would you feel about? Because he then at that point his running backs are like extremely loaded with Javonte. His running backs are already loaded with Aaron Jones in this mix as well. But you have Javonte, CMC, Joe Mixon, and AJ Dillon, right? And so I think by losing London, I think you could probably flip at that point because now you have 3 stud running backs. Then you have a 4th that has that potential. I think you could then at that point, once you have Javonte, CMC, and Mixon, I think you could then take AJ Dillon and try to get a pretty decent wide receiver out of him. Like I think you could get a better wide receiver than Drake London right now.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I feel like then you just won the trade by doing so. Yes, you're gonna have to make another move to do it, but I think overall, I think it ends up making your team better for doing so.
Yeah, so it's really going to depend on how active your league is? Do you just have one or two guys that are always doing all the trading, or can you reach out to a handful of teams? David, do I go Hurst or Everett at tight end this weekend? That's going to be Gerald Everett for us. I think we have him ranked as a tight end 1. I think those are the 2 options over guys like Kmet, Taysom, and Thomas. Yeah, we have Everett as a tight end 1. I think Kmet is just outside.
I have Kmet as a tight end 1 as well. I just have him a little bit higher.
Kyle K, T, Gabe Davis, Jacobs start 2. It's going to be the first 2 for me. Carter, I have Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, and Etienne and Waddles 2 flex spots. Ayuk and James Robinson on bench. What do I do?
I'm not swapping any of them. Leave it the way you have it.
I would consider Ayuk over Etienne, but I think you leave it. Trey Lance or Carr in a 6-point passing league.
Derek Carr.
Everett or Knox.
Oh, this is Everett.
Will Mike Evans get shut down by Lattimore? It's always such a good battle to watch.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like Marshawn Lattimore is going to shadow him all over the field. And especially now with Julio Jones out there, you have to pay attention to. And so, no, I would say no. I don't think he's going to get shut down by Marshawn Lattimore. He's not going to shadow him the entire game.
Which side wins, Javonte and JJ for CMC and Kelsey?
I'm going to go Javonte and Justin Jefferson. I mean, you look at Javonte, and like I've said before, we saw it yesterday or Monday, I should say, especially with that target share, that ridiculous target share that he received. I think by the end of the year, he ends up taking over more opportunities in this backfield and ends up kind of running away with it. I absolutely love CMC, right? So it's tough because CMC and Kelsey are really hard to pass on, but Justin Jefferson might be on a whole nother level this year. And like kind of that Cooper Kupp-ish type range of what we saw last year. I know it's just 1 week. It's super close, right? Because obviously CMC side, we've talked about how he's a cheat code, and then Travis Kelce's a positional advantage. Like, I think it's actually, closer than it probably should be. Which side would you go?
I think if you asked us this question before week 1, we probably have a different answer, right? But then after seeing what just happened with Javonte, JJ going off the way he did, I think I want CMC and Kelsey.
I think it's the logical side, right? Because if CMC gets back, I mean, yes, he didn't have a great week 1, not what we typically see from him. I don't think that's really that big of a deal. When he's healthy, the guy does become, just the best fantasy running back in the game. I think Kelsey is such a positional advantage. But
I think the Javonte and JJ side is safer as crazy. I mean, obviously with CMC's injury history, but yeah, I think CMC and Kelsey is what I want. I'm trying not to let week 1 influence me too much, but it's definitely much closer than it would have been had you asked me that 10 days ago. Nash, start 3 to full PPR. Mike Will, Gabe, Higgins, Alvin, and Hollywood. Woo!
Okay, so Mike Williams, Gabe Davis, and
it's going to be the first 3 for me. And then if Higgins sits, I'm going to go Hollywood over Kamara.
I'm going to go Mike Williams, Gabe Davis, and Alvin Kamara.
Great options there. Either way, we're split on that, but I think you can feel good about whoever you lean. Blair, PPR means points per reception. So it's typically either half PPR or full PPR, even though we did have a 2-point PPR here earlier in the show, but that is definitely not the normal. Thoughts on J.K. Dobbins, who got in a full practice? Obviously, you'd rather see a full practice than a non-limited participant, but I think it's going to be a slow start for Dobbins. So not rushing out to plug him in unless you're just maybe you went hero RB with Dobbins, in the fourth, or maybe you went zero and took Dobbins and didn't take another one until later on. But hopefully you have a better option. You can kind of let him work himself into it. Kev, this one's for you, buddy. You are the kicker guy here around these parts. Are you taking Hopkins or Elliott?
I'm gonna go ahead and go with. I'm gonna go Jake Elliott. It's close between Dustin Hopkins and Jake Elliott. I'm just gonna go with Jake Elliott. I think he's a better option.
JR wants to know Miles Sanders or Henderson in the flex full PPR. That is going to be Miles Sanders for us. Millie Mills, what is going on? Big pun, Carson Wentz or Trey Lance? You're talking about Carson Wentz a lot on the QB show, Kev. Who do you like here?
I'm still going to go Trey Lance.
Another kicker question for you, buddy. Koo or McManus?
I want to go Brandon McManus at home.
Dropped Madison and claimed Brian Robinson Jr. Placed on IR. Good move. And then picked up Landry. Thoughts?
I don't think I would have dropped Alexander Madison, but I don't mind picking up Brian Robinson. I think Jarvis Landry is going to be a little bit unpredictable from week to week, but I wouldn't have dropped Alexander Madison.
Jacobs or ETN?
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs for us. Traded Najee for Patterson and Bateman. Truthfully, I don't feel bad about it. That foot injury scares me.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously just on the face that it's not like great, considering you probably took Najee like late first, early second, and then these other guys were players that were drafted in like the 8th or 9th round. But that foot injury does scare me, just the same as it does you. And I think, see, the only thing with it though is I feel like you're paying for the big week that Cordell Patterson just had in that move, because I think had Najee Harris had a big week last week, and let's say he goes down in the fourth quarter, but he ends up scoring like 20 some PPR points, let's say, right? Then Najee's stock would have been a lot higher, and you could have got more for him. Like I've said, like I don't mind Cordell Patterson because of the opportunities he's going to get, but I still felt like you traded low on Najee Harris, and I would have preferred to have wait, especially with him supposed to be playing this week, to wait it out and see how this plays. And then if Najee Harris goes off, then I think it's a lot easier to trade him. His value is much higher, and then you can move from there. But I don't hate it, but like I definitely think you could have made him a better deal overall.
King Kilo, CPAT or Akers?
I'm gonna go CPAT.
I think you have to at this point. Najee, Keenan, or Lockett at the flex? Well, Keenan is out, Blair, so definitely do not do that. And I'm assuming we're going to go Najee here over Lockett.
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
No, go. We'll take Johnny. Johnny's been dropping us some super chats here throughout the night. Appreciate it. If you can't dig into the pockets for a super chat, a like and a subscribe is also very much appreciated. Appreciate all you guys. We're on our way to 4K now. Hit 3K before the right before the season started. Do I trade Hunt and Godwin for Najee in a PPR?
No.
Not doing that. Not doing that either.
Which is crazy, like because I mean Najee's healthy, and I don't know, maybe we're letting this injury affect our decision making too much, right? But it's just like this injury with Liz Frank injuries is one that if it gets bad enough, it will require season-ending surgery, and he will be out for the rest of the year. And maybe it doesn't happen. It's possible that it doesn't happen. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe he gets fine and he's okay the rest of the year. Whatever. Because it doesn't seem like it was that serious if he's already back and he's already practicing. But it's just a level of discomfort for this injury that I just don't want. Because, like I said, it's the same injury Travis Etienne had. I believe Julio Jones had it earlier in his career. Like, it's very much once you have it, you can come back from it. But, like, he could easily just next week be knocked out for the rest of the year. Like it's just tough.
Yeah, it's and then you talk about the terrible offensive line, just like the inept offense in general. It's hard to buy in on all those different things surrounding him. If T. Higgins is out, should I start Cooks, Michael Thomas, or Christian Kirk? This is going to be Cooks for me. Kevin, you going Thomas?
I'm gonna go Michael Thomas.
Split on that one. I just prefer Cooks and his matchup over Michael Thomas in the Bucks. Emmy, pick wide receiver and a flex. A-Rob, Bateman, Henderson, Landry, ETN, Mooney.
Darnell Mooney.
Say it.
And I'm going to flex Allen Robinson.
Let's go. Curtis Samuel or Penny?
Rashad Penny.
Penny for me as well. Landon, do I trade Lance Jones and Waddle for Kyler Murray and Swift?
No. I just think it's too much, right? I don't know. It's tough because you're definitely getting. I think you're getting an upgrade with Kyler Murray for Trey Lance, right? Like Trey Lance is a runner and everything else, but Kyler Murray possesses that as well. And then you have DeAndre Swift, who I love, and I think really has a path to being a top 5 running back this year. But Aaron Jones, I think, could still be a low end RB1, and then Jalen Waddle is like a wide receiver 2, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you're giving up just a little bit too much for that move. It's not terrible. It's not like an atrocious trade or anything like that. It's just I just prefer that other side.
Yeah. Browns D or Pitt. I'm going to go Browns here.
Agreed.
Have PPR. We need 2. Connor, CPAT, and Sanders.
James Conner is a lock. And then I'm going to go with Cordell Patterson.
Oh, my. I'm going to go Connor and Sanders.
Let me see. Hold on. I take that back. I take that back. I have I have Miles Sanders. I have Miles Sanders at 19, and I have Cordell Patterson at 22. So yeah.
Okay. Curtis Samuels, Ayuk, or ETN?
I'm gonna go ETN on this one.
I'm gonna go Ayuk. Lamb or Bateman?
I'm gonna go CeeDee Lamb at this point with this one.
Way closer than it should be. Vogues, would you trade Chris Olave and Khalil Herbert for J-Rob?
No. I think you have a flex spot. I think Chris Olave can be used there. And honestly, if Khalil Herbert's going to continue to see opportunities, I think Khalil Herbert is a flex option, right? I don't mind James Robinson, and I think James Robinson can be a really nice flex option like what you're looking for, but it's just the other 2 options are going to continue to see work, and I think both of them are kind of somewhere in a similar vein, right? I mean,
yeah.
Khalil Herbert last week handled almost 35% of the opportunities in the backfield, played 30% of the snaps, had 9 carries, a target. We talked about that already, 45 yards and a touchdown. I think that's very much kind of what you can kind of look for on a weekly basis. Maybe he gets, I think, somewhere in that 8 to 12 carries range, probably 2 or 3 targets per game, probably lower than that, probably 1 to 2 targets per game, somewhere right around there. And if David Montgomery goes down, then Khalil Herbert just goes off.
Everett or Logan Thomas for Rob. This one is going to be Everett. Chakra Willan, do I start Gibson or Waddle full PPR in the flex? I'm going to go Waddle here.
I'm going to go Antonio Gibson.
Figured we'd be split on that one. If anyone wants to help CW there, split the difference for us, please help us out. Should I trade Eckler and Lance for Najee, Lamar, and Renfro?
No.
Keeping Eckler there as well. Darts for days. Henderson, Dillon, or Montgomery?
I'm gonna go A.J. Dillon.
Same. Ronnie, good to see Santana in here. What do we think about Najee Harris this Sunday? And I trade Smith Jr. for Metcalf. Ronnie, I'm not entirely sure.
Smith Jr.
For Metcalf. Is that no? Nope. Not even the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the running back is on this.
I literally almost said, "Oh, maybe he means Brian Robinson." Not like no the last name. Ronnie, if you're still rocking with us, if you want to try and help us out here with that one, let us know so we can try and help you out. You think my RBs are fine long term? Najee, Sanders, Jacobs, Brees Hall, James Cook. Other key players are Pittman, Jefferson, and Sutton. Also have Patty Fry and Hawkinson. I would try and trade one of those tight ends if you could. You know, maybe pick up somebody like an Edmonds. You know, that didn't have a fantastic game. You know, maybe try and flip something like that, or you know, maybe go after maybe pair one of those running backs with a tight end and go after like an Aaron Jones who had a down game. Some people might be down on. There's just you know, Sanders. You have all the other players that are getting run. You have Jalen Hurts obviously taking touches. Jacobs, you have other running backs taking touches. Brees Hall's in a split. James Cook fumbled week 1, so I would try and want to make a move. I obviously don't want to touch any of those wide receivers if I don't have to. But maybe try and take one of those tight ends, pair it with a running back, and see if you can just get like a slight upgrade. Gator fan, own 1 in the home league. Pick 2, full PPR. A-Rob, Bateman, Dylan, Cooks.
This is going to be Dylan and Cooks.
Yeah. Everett or Logan Thomas for Arturo. This is going to be Everett for us. Gibson or Waddle. We already hit that one. Colts or Packers defense. I'm going to go Colts. Alex Klostar 2. Chase Evans, Kareem Hunt, Rashad Bateman.
This is Hunt and Bateman for me.
Yeah. What should I do with Eckler? Just hold on. Everything is going to be fine. I think Sony Michel, you know, might take some goal line touches, but he's not going to be siphoning a lot of the receiving work, and that's what makes Eckler so damn good. Zeke or Kirk?
I'm going to go Christian Kirk.
Would you guys trade? That's Kirk for me as well. Would you guys trade Evans / ETN for Debo and Connor? I would. Is that
Yes.
a
Yes,
nod
I
of
would.
approval? Okay.
Yeah.
Trade Fournette for Kittle and Sanders?
No, I want the Fournette side.
Yeah. Same. Which defense? Denver, New England, Cincy, or Indy?
This is Denver.
Yeah. Denver as well. Hey, we hope to see that too as well, CB. Would you drop Ertz or Frymuth for Everett?
Terry, I would drop. I would try. I would drop the other tight end you have. I mean, I don't think you need 2. So,
Who do you
I
prefer?
know I don't want to. What?
Who do you prefer, Ertz or Frymuth?
I don't know. I think I probably would prefer to drop Zach Ertz. I don't know. I just think once DeAndre Hopkins comes back, it's going to change some things. Rondo Moore comes back, like you're going to start to get more of a consolidated target share, and some of those like big opportunities are going to be gone. So I think that's the way I would go.
Everett or
this
Pitts?
is not even a question.
It is a question, but the answer is Pitts. They're trying to get through a bunch of these guys. Go rapid fire here. Evans or Amon St. Brown to start. That's going to be Evans for me. Assuming that's the same for you. Davis, I got CD McLaurin and Dylan competing for wide receiver 2 and flex. What's the play?
Dylan and McLaurin.
Yeah. Lawrence or Fields at QB2, a 10-team superflex.
I'm gonna go Justin Fields.
I'm gonna go Trevor Lawrence, but it's close. I just want to see it with Fields in this offense first. Like I said, we're thrown out last week. Gyre bangers. Who should I start out of Lance Wentz and Matt Ryan? Is going to be Trey Lance for me.
Agreed. Yeah.
Hunt or Hendy for Lee Toon.
I'm gonna go Darrell Henderson.
I'm gonna go Kareem Hunt. Schultz or Everett at tight end this week for 808.
Oh, this is Dalton Schultz.
Would you
I'm not
do?
as worried about Dalton Schultz in this offense because we typically see backup quarterbacks really rely heavily on the tight end. It's kind of like that safety blanket.
Would you do Najee and Brees Hall for Chubb and Mike Evans? I would.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're not going just Najee and Brees for Chubb. You're getting Evans if you can get Evans.
Yes. Right.
Sutton or Juju?
This is closer than you think, but I would go Cortland Sutton here.
Lucius. Good to see Lucius in here. What do you think of the Cardinals? Have shares of Hollywood and Kyler. A little worried after that first game. I wouldn't be too worried. You're talking about another team that didn't play a ton together in the preseason. The Chiefs came out and just smacked them around. So obviously you want to see a better week 1 game out of them, but just hold tight. I think they're going to be fine long term. Already talked about that one. JDM pick 1 for week 2. Kirk, Hollywood, Sutton, Jones. This one's going to be Sutton for both of us. Mr. Wong rocking with us. 2 wide receivers, Debo, Juju, Marquise Brown. I have Kyler Murray.
So I'm going to go Debo and Juju here.
Yep. That is the play for me as well. Amboy Spice, who should I start in my flex? Curtis Samuel, Henderson, Edmund, Elijah Moore, Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Darrell Henderson here. I mean, just love the matchup against Atlanta. Yes, this is a very fluid and volatile situation here between Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson. But yes, I would go Darrell Henderson here between all these options.
Easy money Sicilian, ETN, Brees Hunt, Henderson, pick 3 in a full PPR.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait. I would go Hunt, Henderson, and then ETN.
Yeah. Kev, I got it if you need to. It's now I need to find our spot. Need 2 for the flex. Hunt, Elijah Moore. God, sorry, I zoned out there from the last one we just had. Hunt, Elijah Moore, Henderson, full PPR. So this one for me, need 2 in the flex and a full PPR. I'm going to go Hunt and Elijah Moore. I just don't. I'm really confused with the Rams backfield. Hunt, obviously, great matchup going up against the Jets, and then going to be playing catch up again. Elijah Moore is the wide receiver 1 there that I want for that team. And Boy Spice, I trade Keenan Allen and Henderson for Michael Pittman. Man, I think I would. I still believe in Akers, and it's also has to do with the fact that Sean McVay, every chance that he has gotten, he gets away from Henderson if he is able to. So I don't mind I don't mind getting rid of Henderson in order to upgrade from Keenan to Pittman. Zabe PPR need to drop 2 for a defense and kicker. Pickens, White, Jamal Williams. I mean, I think you can drop Pickens. This offense is not going to be able to support all these pass catchers. Pickens could have a couple weeks here and there, but without a couple injuries, I don't think he's ever going to see your starting lineup. And then with Fournette healthy, I think you can drop Rashad White. I don't want to drop Jamal Williams just yet, considering what the DeAndre Swift news is. So I would drop the first two. Crip, hey guys, need 2 full PPR. Deontay Johnson, Michael Thomas, or CPAT. Man, I'm going to go Deontay and Michael Thomas. I just don't love this matchup for CPAT this week. Going to be much tougher than it was last week for them. No Pixel, Mike Evans or Amon St. Brown to start. This is going to be Mike Evans for sure. AJ Dillon or Zeke. Give me AJ Dillon. It's not going to be pretty. I think they just absolutely load the box against the Cowboys and just dare him to pass. DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, or Darnell Mooney at the flex, full PPR. I'm gonna go DJ Moore. I don't actually know. Let's swing for some upside and let's go Darnell Mooney. Kelly G, Deontay Johnson or Peoples Jones or Dotson for the flex. Donovan Peoples Jones is not in consideration here for me. I would love it to be Dotson. I want to see it a little bit more. Again, only a handful of catches caught 2 touchdowns, so you don't want to rely on that. Give me Deontay Johnson. I know it wasn't pretty, but he still saw a boatload of targets. Itty Bitty South City, 650. Let's go. Najee, Barkley, Henderson, Herbert, Mitchell, DK, Mike Will, Kirk, Renfro, Moore, 12-team PPR. So, all right, let's start this. We need 2 running backs, Najee, Barkley, Henderson, Herbert. Mitchell obviously does not factor in here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Barkley's a lock, and then we're going to go Najee.
2 wide receivers out of DK, Mike Williams, Kirk, Renfro, and I'm assuming Eli Moore.
So we're going to go with Mike Williams and DK Metcalf.
And we need a flex.
Christian Kirk.
Same thing here in a 14 team for Itty Bitty South City 650. 2 running backs out of JT Saquon. Well, we're locking them in. 2 wide receivers. How do you get JT and Saquon in a 14 team? Great job. 2 wide receivers, St. Brown, Renfro, Devonta Smith, McKenzie, and Romeo. So St. Brown for sure. You're locking him in each and every week.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to go with Devonta Smith.
Who we put in the flex? AJ Dillon?
Yes.
Real Dirty Dan 23 offered Etienne and Montgomery for Henderson PPR.
Oh, yeah. If you're getting Etienne and Montgomery, yeah.
Jeff Wilson, James Robinson, or Miles Sanders?
I'm going Miles Sanders.
Let's go Miles. Meant Devonta Smith for Metcalf. I'm Keenan Allen owner. I have Judy, Peoples-Jones, Treylon Burks, and Shepard.
Yeah, if you're getting Metcalf.
Would you drop Hawk for Everett?
No.
Start 2, Sutton, Henderson, or TMC?
I'm going to go Sutton Henderson.
I'm gonna go Terry. We had a question while you were gone with Henderson, and I went against Henderson there as well. Uncle Andy, Wentz, Mariota, or Daniel Jones for the main event?
I'm gonna go with Carson Wentz, which is scary. But I mean, with the options that you have here, Marcus Mariota is intriguing just because of his rushing upside that he shows
Yeah.
that he has.
Looked decent in the
But
passing game.
yeah, but this is against the Rams, and I feel like you're going to get a really just kind of pissed off Rams team after the egg that they just laid against the Bills. And so, yeah, I would just go Wentz.
Henderson or J-Rob?
Darrell Henderson.
DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Darrell Henderson, or Mooney, full PPR?
DJ Moore.
Jorge Ortiz, should I start Sanders or Curtis Samuel? This is going to be Sanders for both of us. At the flex for Amboy, Henderson, Edmonds, Elijah Moore, Landry.
I'm going to go with Darrell Henderson.
Yes. Quick question. With the Eli injury, should I accept this offer? I give Saquon and Diggs. He gives me Najee and Debo. No. Do not do
Not
that,
anywhere
JJ.
close.
Yeah, I mean with the Eli Mitchell, like that shouldn't factor in at all. You should be wanting to hold on to Saquon, especially with what we just saw week 1. Corey, Landry or Marquise Brown. This is going to be Marquise Brown for both of us. 2 out of the 3 here for Anthony. Waddle, AJ Brown, and Amon-Ra. It's going to be the first 2.
Yes, very slightly, but yes. AJ Brown's a lock, and then it comes down to Waddle and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think it's really close between those two, and I just slightly lean towards Jalen Waddle.
CD and ETN for Javonte.
Yeah. Yep. All day.
Agreed. Non-PPR in the flex. Monty, J-Rob, Jamal Williams.
Yeah, you got to go with David Montgomery here.
Going Monty there as well. Justin S.5 PPR start 2. Davis, Hollywood, DJ Moore.
This is going to be the first 2, but it's close. But yeah, it's Gabe Davis for sure. I have almost as a wide receiver 1 this week. And then, yeah.
Feeling spicy, JJ. Feeling spicy. Full PPR, Marquise Brown and Jarvis Landry. We just did this one. It's 100% going to be Marquise. Zane, appreciate you. Drop us a sub as well. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy.
Appreciate the like, though. We appreciate the like.
It's nice, but it's one more click. You know what I mean? Would you trade Andrews and Judy for Kelsey and ETN?
No.
I don't think I would either.
Kelsey and Andrews is kind of a wash. I prefer Kelsey. I actually think Kelsey is a little bit higher, but I mean, it's not anything major. But then Judy he's locked in as a top 24 wide receiver, I think, this year.
Mike Williams or St. Brown in PPR is going to be Mike Williams. Ray Gamer, let's go. Ray back in the chat. Bengals defense versus Cowboys, the Steelers or the Pats?
Bengals.
Bungles. Is Curtis Samuel an elite upside flex this week? I wouldn't say elite. Like talked about it a bunch in the Discord, like I was saying earlier. I just don't see him getting double-digit targets on a week-in, week-out basis. It's nice. Obviously nice that he was getting involved in the run with the carries as well. But I don't know that I would put elite and Curtis Samuel in the same sentence.
Right. I mean, we know he's not going to get. Yes, we know he's not going to get 11 targets per week. Like that's not like hot at all. Like that's just not happening. But I do think that you can look at him and say that he probably he can get 6 or 7 targets somewhere in that range. Maybe even that's a little high. Maybe 5 to 6 targets a game, I think is probably more realistic for him. But I think where some extra upside comes from him is I think if they continue to utilize him like they did last week and give him um, carries, I think could be something that kind of makes them a little bit more interesting because we saw them do that in whenever he was in Carolina, um, and so I think it's possible that maybe he gets a little bit more touches that way as well, kind of like a Debo Samuel light type player. So I don't mind him. I think he's fine, but he's certainly not elite.
Yeah. Ashton coming through with the super chat. Appreciate Ashton. Ashton's been rocking with us for a couple years now. Always good to see Ashton here. PPR Bateman, Robinson, Woods, Burks, Ayuk.
This is Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, sure as hell not Bobby Woods, who we told everyone to stay away from. Thoughts on Taysom Hill starting a tight end position, then follows that up with or any waiver guys you like. We will
I
have a
don't
tight
think.
end show.
No, I was just gonna say. I was gonna say. I don't think Taysom Hill's a start. Taysom Hill's not the starting tight end. The starting tight end is Juwan Johnson. Is a starting tight end for the Saints. And Juwan Johnson is kind of has some appeal, right? Athletic guy, 4'5". I think he got hurt last year because I remember last year he was kind of, especially early on in the year. I think he scored a couple touchdowns and it was looking okay, because it was kind of like Adam Troutman or him. But Taysom Hill's not the starter. But Taysom Hill is appeal because they're going to be utilizing him in different packages, right? They have a package for him where he's going to do a little bit of work out as a tight end. He'll run a few routes, but he's also going to get some carries, especially on the goal line. Like that's kind of the appeal with Taysom Hill. But I wouldn't expect what he did last week. I mean, he barely touched the ball last week. He was barely played. So, I mean, I just he's not the starting tight end for this team. And so he's gonna be really trust on a week to week basis.
And then he follows it up with any waiver guys you like. I was just saying we were dropping the quarterback tight end show tomorrow. Gerald Everett obviously going to be on there, and I like Robert Tonyan as far as the waiver guy. If you miss out on Gerald Everett,
Yeah, I mean, if we're just talking about tight end, yeah, and then I think like Irv Smith, if somebody would have dropped him because he didn't do a whole lot. Albert O. I mean, not that anybody cares about my fantasy teams, but I actually picked up Albert O this week. David Njoku could be a possible option as well. So, I mean, I think there's quite a few tight ends that you could look at.
and it's standard here for Ray Henderson, J-Rob, or Waddle. Standard.
I'm going to go Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, I agree. Should I sell high on Mixon and get Dalvin? They're both similar to me, so I don't think you're making I don't think you're getting out quick with Mixon and kind of pulling one over and getting Dalvin. I slightly prefer Dalvin, but I don't think you're necessarily well, when I think of I'm selling this guy high, I think of I'm getting out from under him and I'm letting someone else take him. And those guys are pretty close to me. Madhav, would you start Zeke, Edmonds, Hunt, or CEH? That's going to be CEH for both of us. And would you start Zeke or Judy? That's going to be Judy for me. Kev, what about you?
Yeah, I would too.
I don't even know why I had to ask you. Juju or Bateman in the flex. That is going to be Juju for both of us. James Johnson wants to know who wins. I trade CMC and McLaurin. I get Adams and Tyreek Hill. I have Fournette, Kamara, Zeke, Dillon at RB, wide receiver, Michael Thomas, Juju, Nico Collins.
I see what the point here is, and you're trying to get a wide, some wide receiver. I don't think this is terrible, and you're definitely doing well at running back, but I don't want to trade Christian McCaffrey. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's terrible. Obviously, Devontae Adams is, with his, monster target share that he just got, and Tyreek Hill, I think is great. I don't know. I think this is close. This isn't bad at all, but I wonder if you could keep CMC and maybe trade Fournette and maybe for just like Tyreek Hill or just Devontae Adams, and maybe you toss one other option in there, not anybody crazy, and see if you can make that work instead of having to trade CMC. But if they would say no, like I don't hate it. Like if you told me you made this trade, like I wouldn't like, oh my god, you got fleeced, right? Like it makes a lot of sense. You need wide receiver help. You're still fine enough at running back with Fournette, Kamara, Zeke, and Dylan. Like so, you're trading out of a position of strength here to make this happen. But I would just try to figure out maybe if I can make a different trade or trade one of my other running backs, and instead of having to get CMC, and maybe instead of getting both of them, you only get one of them.
Well said. Mac Nasty, Marquise Brown, or AJ Dillon on a PPR. I'm going to go Marquise.
Yes.
Trey Lance or Lamar?
You're going Lamar.
Going Lamar. For sure. Wide receiver, 2 flex, and a tight end. So it's picked up wide receiver first. DJ Moore, Mooney, Palmer, Chark, McKenzie.
Wide receiver 2, we're going to go with...
Say it.
DJ Moore. And then flex, we're going to go Darnell Mooney. Tight end is not even a question.
Not getting Palmer in there.
I can't get him ahead of DJ Moore or Darnell Mooney.
Okay. And tight end is going to be Pitts.
Yeah,
don't fret from week 1. Would you trade DJ Moore and Joe Mixon for Najee and Debo?
No.
Yeah.
And it's mainly the Najee component. Like, I just don't want to do it.
Ravens or Miami's defense here for Vic? I'm going to go... If I have to pick between the two, I'm going to go Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going to go Baltimore. Yes, you can trust Russell Wilson. Like that game was like we kind of talked about it. We sort of talked about it with, like, I felt like the schedule makers did not do them any favors, right? You go on the road, you go to Seattle for Russell Wilson. That had to be, it's tough to go back to play, and especially week 1, Monday Night Football. Like he just did not look like right at all night, right? He made a couple of nice throws, but then he made a lot of like really questionable decisions with some of the passes he made, and so they're going to be fine, and they'll get this figured out. And yes, I think you can trust Russell Wilson.
The other thing, just to add on to that really quick, you're talking about a new offense for Russ that he hasn't had to learn a new offense for how since he's been in the league, and then they didn't spend a lot of time together in the preseason. Obviously, like the practices and stuff, but that doesn't replicate games. So I think like I myself got a little overzealous because then you look at teams like Dallas did not start well. They didn't play in the preseason altogether either. So I think it's something that I'm personally going to be keeping in mind for next year when we're looking at these teams and we're talking about like, all right, taking the overs and this guy's going to smash and this matchup is perfect. I think the preseason is a little more valuable than we have been like kind of like telling ourselves, especially when there's like new pieces and moving pieces and things like that. So Russ is going to be fine. Juju Bateman or Penny at the flex?
Juju
for sure. Appreciate you rocking with us, Ant Boy. Thoughts on Knox as a tight end? Should I work trades waivers if I have him? I don't think there's going to be anybody you're picking up off of waivers that you're going to like love over Dawson Knox. And if you're going to look to trade him, you have to wait for one of those games where he catches, where he goes 4 for 83 and 2. Wait for one of those games before you try and trade him. You're not going to get much trade wise out of him now.
Yeah, he just didn't get a lot of opportunities, right? 7% target share, but he still played 87% of the snaps, which was 7th among all tight ends. And then he also was top 12 in routes run as well. So I mean, he was out there. He was running routes about as much as you can ask for in one of the league's best offenses. So I wouldn't overreact to just this 1 week of not doing anything. It's way too early to be making decisions. And generally speaking, the way it works in terms of like really wanting to judge what a team is, you really have to kind of wait for like the first 4 weeks, right? And then once really for data to kind of become more concrete, we're kind of looking at like the first 6 weeks, right? To be able to really understand who these teams are and what teams are actually good, what teams are bad, at least for that point, right? And so like 1 week is just not enough time to be able to make any decision. And if you drafted Dawson Knox because you thought that he was going to be, a reliable tight end, cutting him after just 1 week isn't the answer because there's probably nobody on your waiver wire that has the type of upside that he has, especially on an offense like he is.
Absolutely. Lucas, James Conner and Bateman for King Henry. I get Henry. Bateman is on my bench. Thinking yes, 50-50 on Henry. Still think he is better than Conner, though, full PPR.
I mean, if we're just talking about like talent, yeah, I think Derrick Henry is a better running back than James Conner is, but PPR is tough because I mean James Conner, we just saw it. I mean in an absolute boat race that they got rocked. I mean the Cardinals did. He still played. He got 66% of the opportunities, almost 67% of the opportunities. Played 71% of the snaps. Saw 6 targets, which was 9th most among all running backs. He was got the red zone touches. The carries weren't that high, but they were trailing the entire game. I mean, it's tough. Like James Conner can outscore Derrick Henry this year. Like that is definitely in the range of possibilities because of all the opportunities he's going to get. Now, can he stay healthy? I don't know. And the thing that worries me about Derrick Henry is the same thing that worries me about Derrick Henry is the Titans have been really lucky in being efficient and being able to keep in games to be able to game script to go in Derrick Henry's favor. And so if something were to happen and like if this trend continues and especially like this weekend, right, against the Bills, if they fall behind early, he is game scripted out. Like they're not going to be utilizing him the same way. He's not going to see 20 plus touches. And I think that's the problem. Now, would you make this trade? I mean, I think you can if you want to bet on the upside of Derrick Henry to be able to continue to sustain this and especially the pace that he's on. But it's not as bad. It's not as like a slam dunk trade that I think people would want to make it out. People would want to make it out to be because but we are also both not as high on Derrick Henry as everybody else is. And I would argue that a lot more people started to move on to that this year, and a lot of people were much lower on Derrick Henry than I think the community was.
I can't get myself to say yes. I just can't do it. Like you said, I don't think it's awful if you want to go ahead and do it. Like we said earlier, this is not a trade that we're gonna berate you for. So, Maxu, drop Akers or Edmonds for Devin Singletary. No, do not do that. We saw the Bills involve 3 running backs in that game, so definitely not doing that. Mike Will, Mike Thomas, Juju, Hollywood. Can you rank all in order for this week?
Mike Williams, Juju, Hollywood, then Mike Thomas.
Yep. So I have it as well. Zeke Wilson or Hollywood Brown in a standard.
I'm gonna go Zeke in a standard.
Is DeAndre Carter a sneaky flex play tomorrow night? Like in a 16-team league, maybe 14-team league. Like if you're willing to live with the potential 0 that you get, like
I just don't know why you would need to. Like it's week 2. Like if by this point your team is not like you have nobody else. Like we have other problems to discuss. If you have to go to DeAndre Carter.
Yeah. Yep. You put him in the captain spot, Kev?
DeAndre Carter?
Yeah.
No.
Ashton, we'll hit you up. We'll hit you up. Curtis Samuel or Henderson at the flex full PPR.
Henderson.
Henderson for me as well. Oh, and what kind of guys are we starting over CD with no Dak? I think I had CD at like 17, I want to say 20, maybe like somewhere around there. I think is where I had him. So I mean, you're talking Hollywood Brown, Gabe Davis, Waddle. Those are probably like the range of guys, without going through the entire rank. That's probably like a solid place to start and end.
I have CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver 25. So
I
like
can't
he's more in
can't
the
argue against it.
he's more in the like Tyler Boyd, Allen Robinson, Rashad Bateman, Josh Palmer, Christian Kirk, all type range for me now.
Yeah, can't. So can't blame you for having him down there. Do we like Hurst or Knox more for the immediate future? Definitely gonna be Knox.
Yeah.
Full PPR: Deontay Johnson, T Higgins, or Amon St. Brown.
If he plays, I'm gonna go T Higgins.
If he doesn't,
Deontay Johnson. And then this is Carson Wentz.
Zeke or Gordon at the RB2 spot.
This is Zeke.
Would you trade Gabe Davis for a CD straight up?
No.
Kev, it's like asking you to pick between your two children, AJ Brown or Pittman.
I mean, I don't know why you'd have to make this decision, to be honest with you. Like, I couldn't, but it would be AJ Brown. I actually have AJ Brown 6, and I have Michael Pittman 7. So this week,
Gibson or Javonte? Only asking because I like Gibson's matchup. Yeah, you're not starting Gibson over Javonte. Roll with Javonte there. Sit one. Our first sit one question
it's the same
of
question.
the.
We already had that, right?
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that said start.
Oh, so we have to sit one.
Yeah, it just said full PPR. It did not say start or sit.
Okay, maybe you forgot to put that in. So then it would be, if we had to sit one, then I guess I'm sitting Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Jarvis Landry or DJ Moore?
DJ Moore.
Curtis Samuel over Thielen?
This I would do.
Would you?
Yeah.
Not me. I'm going Thielen, but I understand it. But I'm going to go Thielen. I think he starts to see more targets than what he did in Week 1. They had that game in the bag. Henry, Kamara, Jacobs, Gibson. Which two for Justin?
This is an interesting one for you, but I would go Henry and Kamara.
Henry and Kamara for me as well. But Gibson is knocking on Henry's door. If Higgins can't play, DJ Moore, Cooks, Julio, or A-Rob at wide receiver 2. It's going to be Cooks
Moore.
for me.
It'll be DJ Moore for me.
Rest of season, Henderson or Zeke?
I'm going to go Zeke. I'm just going to believe that I just don't think Henderson's going to keep this job all year.
Lazard, Claypool, or Olave?
Ooh. I'm going to go with Alan Lazard if he plays. If he doesn't, I'm going to go with... What was it?
Claypool or Olave?
I'll go Olave.
Legendary Pest Control, always grinding. Always. Yes. Please hit us with a sub and a like if you have yet to do so. We are rounding here to the finish. If you have any other questions you guys want us to cover, please jump into the Discord. We're always answering questions over there as well. Hawkinson or Fryermuth at for full PPR?
Hawkinson.
DJ Moore. Would you trade DJ Moore for Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I think it's kind of a push. Like, I think you could. There's better days coming for DJ Moore. You know, we're overreacting a little bit. So I think it's very close between the both of them. I don't think you're like making an upgrade over one or the other. So if you prefer Amon or say Brown, I think you could do it, but you don't have to move DJ Moore either.
Chubb, MT, Sutton at the flex.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton. But it's super close. I don't know. I think you could go either way. It's between him and Chubb.
Yeah, really, really close there. I'm gonna go. Oh man, I'm gonna go Chubb. Man, that's. I was gonna get myself to say it. JJ, jump in the Discord. I don't think we're going off the top of our heads with the DK lineup, and there will be live on Friday talking DFS for the live show. If you're talking about the showdowns, jump in the Discord and we can talk about it there. What do you expect from D Hop when he returns? Solid, back end wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver 2, in that sort of range.
Yeah, he's starting to fall off. I mean, he was starting to fall off a little bit last year. Like he wasn't, and they were utilizing him a little bit different. He wasn't seeing like type of targets I think people were expecting him to see last year. I mean, he was good, but if I remember correctly, I mean, just off the top of my head, without looking at all the numbers, there was a lot of. It was really touchdown dependent
He
on
was
his
carried by
numbers.
touchdowns. Yeah.
So I don't mind. I mean, obviously I don't mind him, and I think he's actually somebody that you could probably buy low on. Don't do it now because he still has 5 more weeks left to miss. But maybe in another week or two, especially if whoever has him, if someone in your league has him and they're kind of struggling, maybe you could try to pry him away. And then at that point, you only have to hold on to him for another couple weeks till he returns. So, and this is 1,000% Joshua Palmer.
1,000% Juju here for Justin.
Yeah.
Edmonds or CPAT?
CPAT.
Man, Akers not rostered in Lee's league.
I would assume he got dropped. I would think after week 1, there was a lot of overreaction. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I can't imagine there's going to be a better opportunity for someone to come along than Cam Akers.
Yeah. Already got this one. Najee, Monty, Penny, and ETN in my RBs. Who should I try and go for? Wide receivers are Debo, MT, and A-Rob.
I mean, I think you like go down to go up. Like maybe you trade Najee while where he's at, and then like you try to go after. I don't know. It's hard to without like seeing other people's teams. Like this is the hardest part about like, it's hard to like say players should go after because like we can't see like your league and who all is available out there, what the other teams have because like I don't mind trading Najee, but I think by doing so, like maybe like you could probably try to get like maybe a Javante, and maybe it takes you throwing in somebody else and adding another player to that. But even like I would do Najee for Javante straight up.
Yeah. And I think before, if Walker starts to get more involved for Seattle, maybe look at doing something with Penny as well. Like you said, maybe you drop down a little bit, but in the long run, it ends up being a better trade for you. 10-person league, full PPR, Kamara, Cook as RB1 and 2. Should I go for a better wide receiver instead of Juju and Evans for 1 or 2?
I think it's fine. I think you're fine with Mike Evans and Juju. Like, yeah. I mean,
we drop Kadarius Toney. You
sure can, right? It just depends on who you're picking up. Like, I think dropping him after 1 week of the very little bit of action is probably not right. But I mean, it all depends on who. I mean, I have not just dropped him for anybody. Like, if there's somebody out there that really makes a lot of sense, then yeah, I think you could do it. But like, I'm not dropping him to drop him.
Flexing a full PPR, A-Rob, Carter, Thielen.
Oh, this is A-Rob.
Let's go. If Higgins plays, you are going Higgins there, Cole. My opponent has Patrick Mahomes, so I start Juju to have a piece of the offense. You should be starting Juju regardless. I guess maybe not regardless because you could have because of where he was drafted. James, let us know who you have. We're gonna start wrapping up here. Rams is J. Rob at the flex over Pollard.
Yeah, I think so.
What 3 is starting a full PPR here from Anthony, AJ Dillon, Sutton, Cooks, Davis.
I'm gonna go Sutton, Gabe Davis, and AJ Dillon.
Same for me. Patterson, Curtis Samuel, or Julio Jones in the flex.
I'm gonna go C Pat.
I'm gonna go Julio. Give me Julio. Everett or Dawson Knox is gonna be Dawson Knox for me.
This is Gerald Everett for me.
Okay. Packers or Steelers defense. That is going to be the Steelers for me there, Cole. We appreciate all you guys wrapping this one up. 1 a.m. here on the East Coast. Like I said, join the description. If it's not in this one here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You can find it in literally any other of our videos. I forgot to check before we jumped on. So we'll be live again on Friday talking DFS, live again on Saturday talking player props, then live again on Sunday morning talking more start sets and getting you guys ready. Again, please hit us with a sub. We appreciate all you. It's really fun show. Good luck in week 2. Goodbye.